What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another week of the weekly comic book wrap-up. Joining me today, of course, as always, is Comics Elite. What's going on, guys? Great to see you. Thank you for being here.
What's going on? It's a rainy, nasty, miserable rainy day here in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
All day, morning, afternoon, night. Nothing but rain, wind. It's just nasty.
Yeah.
Sounds like Ireland. Sounds actually amazing. But probably not, though. So
No.
Well, thank you guys for being here. We are still waiting on Aaron Sparrow and Josh McDonald, who should be joining us shortly. But I figured we should go live and just get some of these topics going because there are quite a few that I want to cover tonight. And seeing as though you guys this week read, oh God, I don't even know how many you read, but it may have been one of the worst weeks I've seen in a while. It was bad.
Yeah, it was. I couldn't get a top 10. Second week in a row, couldn't get a top 10. Just the quality just isn't there. It's really a shame. And what makes it even more a shame when you have individuals saying like these books are great, and it's like, no, these books are not great. I don't know what you're talking about here.
It's like compared to what? What are you comparing them to?
Yeah, that's like what's the standard, right? Like what are you like? If this is comparatively to this, sure, maybe it's great, but comparatively to like
airplane emergency manual,
yeah, it's like sure.
So we already have Jacob Ironside. What's going on, man? Thanks for being here. We already have Mark McGrath, who's down with MVP. Thanks for being here, dude. Never fails. There's going to be one day or like one stream that you don't say it, and I'm instinctively going to like not know what to do because it's like Pavlov's dog at this point. Comic books are in a weird place, Jared, and we are about to talk about that shortly. Labrador, 20 degrees Celsius, and Mr. Negative. What's going on, man? Thanks for being here.
So it's like 70 degrees.
I said negative 20.
Is it negative 20 or 20 degrees Celsius?
Oh yeah, it looks like it's
negative 20.
Well, it looks like it's negative, but
it's like if it's negative 20, it's like 30 degrees. I think. I've learned basically living in England where if it's like 20 degrees Celsius, add 50 to that, and that's like right around that temperature.
Okay, that's smart. I never figured out how to do that calculation.
Add around 50.
Okay. I always remember trying to learn military time too, and that one felt easy. But like,
that's how they do time in England. You know, that's how they do it over there. Yes.
Yeah. I actually really like military time. I don't know about you guys, but it just makes sense. It feels like because no one has any questions about. Wait, in the morning? It's like no. I would have said in the morning. Everything is. Everything is laid out, so I enjoy it a lot. Did you guys find it pretty hard to go back to like regular time?
Yes,
like from going from military back to regular, or was it a pretty smooth transition?
Yeah, I still like saying military time. I still like saying, all right, 1900 hours, we're gonna be upstairs doing this.
My phone's on military time still.
There you go. Yeah.
So with my watch, I keep it that way.
My watch is still military time, and I'm weird because I keep it about 5 to 10 minutes fast, so that if I look at it and I'm in a rush, I'm being like, oh crap, and then I get there and I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. I'm here early. So yeah, sorry, I was just texting Aaron to make sure that he's on his way. But we also have Chris Naples. What's going on, brother? And Jay the Deep-Minded. Hello, Jay. This looks like a gathering of men ready to put the world to rights. Ready to put the world to rights. Hopefully.
Right.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I can only hope, but like I said, some of our other panelists will be popping in shortly. So before they do hop in here, though, I wanted to cover a few different topics before we get into the main one tonight, which is the comic book industry. How did we get here, and how can we fix it? A lot of times you'll hear a lot of these channels saying, oh, well, comics are booming or comics are dying. I want to kind of come from a place of here's some realistic things that we can look at, and here's some things that we may be able to do to try and solve some of these problems. Because to say that it's flat out just, perfect, or to say that it's flat out dead, I think they're both juxtapositions that aren't necessarily true, but we can definitely say that I think right now it's unhealthy. And I think that's where, we kind of have to make a stand or a statement, right? So, but before we get into that, I mean, it's a big topic. So before we get into that, I don't think we've had a female on the stream yet. We're a very masculine.
Yeah. This is the He-Man Women Haters Club.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. We're very, let's see if I can find this, very masculine show here. So this was very interesting to me. Dungeons and Dragons movie intentionally emasculates its leading men. We've seen this plenty of times within Hollywood, and especially within comic books. But did you guys see this article at all, or no?
I saw the headline, and I think I remember saying to myself, I honestly would be shocked if he weren't emasculated at this point.
It's like, no duh.
Yeah, like that's kind of how every movie is just now. That's like the standard, right?
If it turned out where like he was actually a heroic male figure, competent figure, but I'd be shocked. I'd be like, oh my God, I may actually want to check this out now. But
yeah, right.
I really have no enticement to see this.
Mm-hmm.
It just validated it.
Well, that was one of the big things that I was like, okay, so you're just flat out saying, like, there's a difference between saying we like to see our male heroes struggle, or we like to see our male heroes go through adversity. That you're like, oh, that's cool. I like to hear that. Mm-hmm. But the article says, we also love emasculating lead men. They love emasculating. That's the most odd statement I've heard from Hollywood executives in a while. And they say some weird stuff.
So what does it have? What does that have to do with telling a story? You've automatically set aside telling a good story for pushing that because that's what you wanted to do. It's like that
exactly
serves no purpose other than to just make the man look bad, which is not original in any way, shape, or form at this point.
Yeah, we've seen it done so many times at this point. It's like this isn't being original or clever or thought-provoking. It does none of that. It's very just on the nose. Hey, let's laugh at the white male, And I think most people see this and they go, oh, white males have such fragility, or the white male fragility or whatever. And I always love to say, well, okay, let's put it on the other shoe, right? Let's do a little test here. Let's do a fun little what do you call it? Practice test where we say, all right, what if this said we also love objectifying lead women? Then it's like,
done with that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I know we have nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I have nothing wrong with that.
I have no problem with that.
We know, we would see articles on we'd see stuff on Twitter, YouTube, like, oh my God, can you believe this?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Cancel this movie now.
Yeah, it would be all hell breaking loose if someone were like, yeah, we're just gonna straight out objectify our lead women. We're gonna put them in skimpy outfits. They're not gonna have any character development, and they will literally just be there for sex appeal. Mm-hmm. Like that would be the equivalency of, yeah, we're just gonna make fun of our white males. We're just gonna make them the
butt of
every joke. Yeah, and that's how we're gonna have our characters grow or not grow.
Yeah, it's like there's no growth. There's no growth at all unless you're purposely trying to make them even more emasculated.
Yeah,
make them not men.
well, we saw that with Rogue and Gambit this week.
Oh my
Rogue and
God.
Gambit #1 came out.
I could not believe that. Could not believe that.
Yeah, Gambit is a skilled tactician. Maybe not a tactician, but he's a skilled fighter. He's agile. He's quick. He's knows how to use. He's clever. He knows how to use his mutant power. Yeah,
duplicitous. But reading this, he's just a dumb,
drunken idiot.
Yeah.
It's like that's his power. Be drunk and stupid.
He's written like Homer Simpson. He's effectively written like Homer Simpson. It's ridiculous. I could not believe it.
I think one of the first things that Rogue says is like, "Are you drunk?" She finds him in the alley, and he's just drunk
he
off his
barks on her.
ass.
Barks on her.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. And this is just this week. Like there are thousands of examples of this happening within like the past 5 or 6 years, in comic books specifically. But yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
It's incredibly lazy. Bush League.
Yes.
Bush League.
Yeah.
It boggles them. I know I'm at a loss for words because I really am at a loss for words. Thinking of a comic like that, just how it's still being published, crap like narratives like this are still being pushed, and no one is saying no to these creators. Try harder.
Yeah, do be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's very odd, and you are kind of at a loss for words because there's a part of you that says again, or just like really, like you're that lazy.
Yeah.
And then there's also a part of you that's saying like, this is 2023. Are we still really doing this? Like, is this still a thing? And sure enough, yeah. But I can guarantee you, and here's like, what Mr. Negative is saying, such a stupid thing for them to highlight. Absolutely. They just lost half of their audience. Mm-hmm. They just lost anyone who's following news. I mean, I know Aaron put it on Twitter today. He's like, he's not going to go see it. He was going to buy a ticket, but why would he go see it now?
Fair. Yeah. I know I wasn't planning on seeing it because I'm, full disclosure, I'm not a Dungeons and Dragons fan, but I do acknowledge the fact it's been around for several decades and people love it. I do acknowledge that. I never got into it, but this just cements my stance now. Like I have no intention of seeing this at all.
Yeah, it looked terrible anyway. Is it like, I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons. Is he playing a character in Dungeons? Like, is he an actual character in the, like, whatever the fuck that is? I don't know. Let you make your own.
That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I was always into Warhammer, and in Warhammer you had actual characters as opposed to like D&D, where I think you create your character before you go into the game. Right. It's a role-playing game. Yeah. So like
if he's based on a character that is an idiot, then it's like, okay, that's fine. Yeah. But still, why have that head? It's just like, and why would Chris Pine do? It's like at some point, I know the money, but it's like at some point you have to stand up and be like if I'm on set and the director's like, all right, you're gonna act like a total fucking dipshit in this scene. We're gonna have everyone yell at you and tell you you're stupid and you're dumb and you're lazy. It's like at some point you got to be like, okay, like, why am I doing this?
This is the second film in a row for Chris Pine along those lines. The first one was the "Don't Worry, Darling," where he played like the
guy. That's right. That's right.
It's like, dude, quit taking the roles, man. I know you need. I don't think he needs money at this point. You've already done.
Yeah.
Star Trek,
Wonder Woman. It's like you already ruined those.
He did one of those teen heartthrob movies back in the early 2000s.
That's right. It's like, just go away.
Well, I mean, so like I said, I always like doing the little examination of, okay, let's put this article and let's like repurpose it in someone else's shoes. So if a female were on set and they're like, yeah, you're just going to take your clothes off and do all this, we're going to laugh at you and blah, blah, and he's going to slap you on the ass. If she came out and was like, I'm not doing this part because it's misogynistic and blah, blah, everyone would be clapping and going, oh, stunning and brave. Yes, queen, you like. But if Chris Pine were to say, hey, you know what? My character should be competent. He's the leader of the team. This isn't a comedy. Where in the script do we want him to be made fun of like this? If it doesn't fit, there's no character growth. I don't feel like doing that. People would just bash him
Chris Pine's toxic male roles.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, at this point, I'm begging for toxic male roles. That's what I pray for.
Yeah, it's like I'm praying for it, but at the same time, hypothetically, if we do get a Lobo movie and it is Jason Momoa, is it really going to be the Lobo we all love?
And that's the question. I mean, we did see. Let me see if I can pull this up here real quick. We did see in the one comic that came out not too long ago. I think like
Deceased
last
Olympian
week or
dead god?
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks ago.
When they 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
when they're like asking Lobo to fight off this army or like to save their Earth or their world.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What is your price?" And he goes, maybe like, "How much are you willing to pay? Whatever you want, it will be yours." And he goes, "What I want is to," and I'm assuming he's just saying, "I want to have sex as many times as possible with as many."
Possible.
Yes. I want to blank and blank and blank the fragging blank out of blank. That's Lobo right there. Like he doesn't want the money, he doesn't want the fame. He wants to slay as many individuals as possible. And you know what's funny? I don't think Lobo would discriminate because Lobo himself is an alien. So he's probably like slaying everything that moves.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that in my mind. It's like as soon as I found out, like, oh, he bangs dolphins. Okay, he really doesn't. He doesn't really care about what he bangs. Yeah, love it. Like James C. Kirk.
Yeah,
but they all wound up being women.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Real quick, we have the beautiful. Speaking of gorgeous women, Dr. Rachel, hello. She says maybe it's a good thing they highlighted this because now people have justification for not seeing it. Yeah, and Chris said, hey, saves me money, saves us money, and that's a great point. By the way, Rachel, if you can either, I think I may have you as a mod. If not, let me know. But please share your newest video out. Rachel just started a YouTube channel. And she's a cosplayer, a hobbyist. Her first video is already doing fantastic with like maybe 200 views or something. She's doing really, really well. And I loved it. Like, Rachel, your editing was great. The actual craft itself was beautiful. So yeah, I cannot wait to see this channel blow up. And I think you've got something really special here. So yeah, everyone go support our girl, Rachel.
Is she a potential future guest with the He-Man Women Haters Club? We're gonna possibly.
Well, now that she's got a YouTube channel, maybe she's been on some member streams, so maybe we'll have to get her on one of these days. Jay says if Chris Pine did that, we'd be looking at a Henry Cavill situation.
Hey,
oh boy,
Henry, he is doing fine. He is doing just fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really hope so because I mean, hearing him talk, he sounds like us, like and
he's a dude
like
I
when
out with.
Oh yeah, he's a fan.
Yes, like get a beer, grab a coffee, go get a burger, and well, for him, fish and chips. But like, we would talk so much nerdy. How can I cuss now? What's the YouTube thing? Like, how many minutes can you not cuss in the first whatever? But yeah, we
broken that rule.
Yeah, we would talk so much nerdy stuff. It would be so much fun. But yeah, I really enjoy his podcast conversations and his interviews and stuff. Zaxx, you are gorgeous just on the inside. And to be fair, Josh is much better looking than you. So ooh, thank you, Zaxx. I appreciate you putting up her link for us. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Go sub to her for some stuff. From Mark Matarosian. Is that correct? Matarosian. He says for $10, this is such a lazy trope, similar to the dumb, blonde, and overbearing mother-in-law cliches of years past. That's a great I mean, it's a good
the early tropes.
Yeah. It's turning into that. Yeah.
Although I don't, maybe it's just me. Dumb blonde jokes, they can be either really good or really bad, but often than not, they're really not that good. But there are times where like it can be played just right. But yeah, the overbearing mother-in-law, that's very old. That's very, very, very old.
And I think like you see movies like, what was it? Oh, the one with Lindsay Lohan.
Mean Girls.
Mean Girls, yeah. They I think they did that trope in a funny way to where they were almost like making fun of it. It was but because the mom is like hilarious in that. But I think it's played by Amy Poehler. But so yeah, no, I think that's a good point, Mark. And thank you for the $10, brother. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I think overall the overarching theme of this is just that the trope is lazy. It's played out. It does nothing for those characters. And yeah, we're looking for something better. We're looking for something braver from those creators. So for you, let's see, you're a big comics guy from what I remember. So we're going to go with some classic Punisher.
I'll dance with you.
Hell yeah. I will be seeing him in Dallas Fan Expo.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be down at MegaCon too. So yeah, that'll be
Oh, is he really? Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Some John Bernthal. All right. Let's get into the next thing that I wanted to kind of talk about. And this was this is just kind of our you guys and I, and then a couple other channels, we joke about this from time to time. And this is a bit of not an inside joke, but just kind of just a joke in general. Let's see.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this at all? Or no?
That's great. Look. Okay, so full disclosure here. Sean hates Funkos.
Yeah,
he hates them with a passion.
Oh.
Yeah, he tried selling them.
He tried to like them.
He tried to. He did, but back in 2017, 2018, couldn't move them. Stopped selling them. Period. But when you go to conventions, you talk to other store owners, you really learn that a lot of these store owners, they buy a lot of these junk pops to get that one chase, to get that chase pop that's going to pay for everything else. It's kind of like getting it's like the ratio variance. There you go. With comics.
1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. Yep.
Yeah, the 1 in 100 Peach Momoko. Yeah, I got to get it. But to me, I am not surprised that they fill a landfill next to the ET Atari game cartridges. So
yeah. Well, this is so I first saw this and I was just laughing my ass off because I was like, this this market boomed so quickly that every time you would go to a convention, you would see a line out the door, and I'd always be like, oh my God, who's here? Is that for Stan or is that for an exclusive cover? No, it's for fucking Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And I'm just dying laughing because I'm like, there's no way that these things have that much value.
I don't
right. And so I'm wondering if this will actually devalue the Funkos that people already have, because there's no way, the Funkos that they're going to probably throw into this landfill are all the copies, are all the ones that no one wants or that have been, like you said, it's those ratio variants where all of those back issues have lost their value because there are so many printed. So I don't know, man, but
all the Captain
I know baby
and
all the Big Bang Theory cast.
Oh yeah, Sheldon. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, how many Sheldon variants are there? They're going to be probably that landfill. Yeah.
Well, they were also saying a lot of Baby Yoda stuff, like Star Wars stuff, and that tracks. The fucking stupid time thing from Loki.
God.
I am tired of seeing that damn character. No, go away, please. It is go to the landfill.
Yes.
It is all over Disneyland. So there's a Disneyland here in Southern California, and it is there's the Guardians ride. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy ride, and in that little gift shop right next to it, there are plushies, there are pillows, there are shirts of just the stupid time clock, and I'm like, why? There's no. It's not a cool character.
Who wants this? No one.
Yeah. 100%. But so yeah, like I was saying initially, I think I was laughing. But then I realized, and Aaron Sparrow had brought this really, really good point up. Why not donate these to hospitals? You know what I mean? Why not donate these to children's hospitals or orphanages or like something. But no, they're throwing it just in a landfill somewhere to where it's going to end up in the ocean, and then it's going to be a whole big thing, and then we're going to find dolphins with it in their esophagus, like a little stupid Funko Pop. Like it's going to be ridiculous. So
we're trying to save the environment and help that. Isn't that
Yeah,
what we're
right.
all about? That's odd. Where's
Yeah,
this
that-
at?
That's
Is
a
this,
landfill. That's right.
is this here in the U.S. or is this like in China?
Ooh, that's a good point. Actually, I'm not sure. I didn't read the full article, so I can't say for sure. But Andy brings up a good point. The only hot toys that don't sell are sequel trilogy and Captain Marvel. I mean, like, yeah, it's true. It's but then you also you go to any Target, you go to any Walmart, you go to any type of store that sells action figures right now, and everything, whether it's from Black Panther to Shang-Chi to Eternals to
all marked down. All marked
Yeah.
down.
all marked down. All marked down.
All going to the landfill right next to the Funko Pops and the ET Atari cartridges.
Yeah. Rachel, I didn't know that you were a Funko Popper.
Well, she's seen
Boo.
the light. She has seen the light. She's in recovery, so that's all that matters.
Yep.
I don't know. Go unsub. No, I'm kidding. She has seen the light, and we will go sub to your channel for that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. There's something about, like, whenever I collect a comic and you get a new comic in, there's never really a moment where I've been like, man, I'm really starting to lose passion for this. If I do, I read like some back issues or I reread a comic that I really love, and it like reinvigorates that passion. But like a Funko, once you get it, you just kind of like, here it is. Like, what am I supposed to do with this thing? I don't know.
Create a whole Weeble village of Funkos.
create an entire background wall of
Yeah.
just Funko Pops, and you just store them.
Right next to the Beanie Baby wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. My Target has their all their Miss Marvel collectibles, quote unquote, at 70% off. Ooh.
Is that for the upcoming film? The upcoming blockbuster film that's been pushed back 5 times?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to that.
Off.
Already.
Yeah, it's still a ripoff.
Yeah, Little Mermaid is gonna sing a song about, look at this stuff, isn't it? Oh, a Funko Pop.
Aw.
And she's like not even gonna. No,
It's like
never
that's
mind.
all she has. They them have. Sorry.
Oh, come on, Kyle. This is an inclusive podcast.
Sorry.
Why force those kids to play with Funko? You're a monster, Max. Okay, no, you're right. I guess you're true, or I guess you're right. But yeah, no, I mean, there is a part of me that's like, kids don't want Funko Pops, but if you were Funko Pop, the corporation, to do that would actually be really cool, I think, in my opinion. Sure, it may not be as much money for your tax write-off, but like, if I'm really thinking evil, like if I'm trying to think of like what Funko Pop might want to do to like virtue signal, is they could say like, hey, look what we did for all the, and that's like me if I'm really sick in the head. If they're like, look at how virtuous we are sending all these Funko Pops to a hospital, and they're not even going to do that. They're just going to be like, nah, throwing them out.
Say, this is like something Lex Luthor would do.
Yeah, like
Shockingly.
no,
Yeah, I'm gonna
kids-
put all this stuff in a I'm gonna put super core stuff into the landfills and create pollution. And we'll
oh,
fight.
my lord.
Kal-El will block out the yellow sun with all of our pollution. I don't know. Something.
It does sound very Lex Luthor-y.
Yeah.
So here is, I've got, how many more do I have? I've got one more topic for us to cover before we get into our main topic tonight, which, like I said, if you guys are in the chat and watching, thank you guys all for being here. But before we get into the main topic for tonight about the comic book industry, I shared with you guys a little vidya, and this this goober, I'll call him a goober. He seems a bit of a goober.
What a maroon.
This guy, right here.
Young Max. Yeah, young Max.
Oh yeah. Guys, so this is me in high school. No. I mean, he does have the backwards hat, so
that's what threw me. I was like, this is supposed to be Max from like 10 years ago.
Uncanny. When I literally could not grow one bit of facial hair. Yeah, this is me. So this guy ended up popping up on my my YouTube home screen, and this video that it's his very first video like ever for his channel, is already almost at like 2K views, which is pretty. I mean, hell yeah, dude. I mean, I didn't even get to 150 subscribers until after like a month of publishing videos.
Yeah.
But my videos weren't these. So I'm wondering if it's like the YouTube algorithm that just like loves this shit.
Yes.
And then like really doesn't, stuff that we do, they're like, no, we can't be having that.
Yeah, it fits right in with other YouTube channels that say everything is awesome. So yeah. Correct.
And if everything is awesome, nothing is awesome. So this, like I said, this video came plastered on my YouTube thing. He's eccentric, to say the least. I don't know if you guys watched the video. Did you watch?
Yes, I did. I tried. I couldn't believe it.
Hey, I will give it to you. Sorry, let me just. Oh, sorry. Josh is texting me. He wants me to send him the link through Twitter because it didn't go through his text message. Boo, Josh. But this is actually perfect because I want to get his take on this.
Yeah, and I have not. This did not pop up. This has not popped up on my feed. This has not popped up on the Comics Elite feed. So maybe that says a lot more about our channels than anything else that this isn't popping up. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't get this pushed to me. So.
Are you trying to say that I watch content like this, guys?
Yes, 100%. You watch fine, no judging.
You have to know the enemy. You have to know the game plan, their schemes.
Right? So. Yeah. Well, one of the things that I actually learned when I was first starting out the channel is I think it was this business guy who was telling me find all the other channels that are going to be similar to yours, see what they're doing and do it better than them, or like do it in a different way. So it's that competitive advantage. It's like, because I'm what's quote unquote second to market or like second to whatever, I'm now having to kind of adapt. And after these established channels have already been here, and so yeah, like for a solid month, I was just watching videos of YouTubers that I thought I could either be better than or that I could make better content with, and yeah, like that was just what I tried to do. So this, like I said, he's eccentric to say the least. His editing gives me an aneurysm. It is so. It is so odd and off-putting.
You spent like 5 hours editing this video, I bet.
100%. But it's also like the pretentious, like, I'm artsy type of editing. And I'm like, fuck off, dude. Quick cut. And each time he does a quick cut, he's like in a different spot. So he'll be like, hey, what's up, guys? And then like in another one, he'll be like, so I was checking out these comic books, and it's like, stop. Whatever it is that you're doing.
That was a camcorder like 20 years ago. Jeez, 20, 30 years ago. Man.
Yeah. So I'll play the first couple of minutes here and just so that the chat can really enjoy it.
Okay, they can suffer with us.
Yeah, 100%. Can you guys hear it though?
Unfortunately.
Okay. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Jack.
Oh, sweet. Oh, Jack. Oh, sweet. I love the jacket throwdown. He's just, and then he gives a little smile to the camera. Hey, I'm Jack.
Subverting expectations.
Oh, he got me, guys. Yeah, LOS got me. Also, lavalier mics are meant to go on your shirt.
Sure.
They're not meant to be held right up against your dumb lips. They're meant to be here on your
We used to wear them.
Yeah.
We used to wear them here.
Yep.
Oh, did you really? Okay, nice.
Short time.
When the production value is up here.
Yes.
So yeah, here's the rest of it.
I was inspired by a video by Alex the Comic Hoarder. His video was just so good, and I went down that playlist, the comic book community's top 50 comic books. I hope you guys aren't expecting something like that, because let me tell you a secret. The entire time I've been collecting comic books, I've either been a child or in college. Don't expect any.
Like, yeah, that you collect comics as a kid, and then you get older and you have more money.
Mm-hmm.
And you're college age, and no duh.
You're going to be broke.
Oh, hello.
Party's here.
Oh my God.
I just
What's
wanted
up,
to
bitches?
say, I was listening while driving home, and when Max said he has masculine people on the stream, I was like, OMG, Max, stop it.
Well,
I know I have muscles, please.
We make an exception for good-looking gentlemen like yourself.
Fuck you, Max. If we didn't break that cussing rule already, I just broke it.
Oh, it's all right. I'm thinking we're 30 minutes in. We should be good. But,
okay, cool. Two catch up things real quick. One, how dare you say that I'm more handsome than Daddy Zaxx? I mean, come on. Now.
Oh my Lord! Look.
Two.
Well, you guys have a nice little relationship here, so.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I can't do the tagline under the name, and I was gonna change it, but I'll have to save it for another stream. It might have to be Flaccid stream next time, but just be on the lookout, Zaxx. Oh hey, yeah. It's not the. Never mind. Second, so I can play catch up. We were talking. Would you shut up? You just had a freaking bone. I swear to God. Were we talking about
no? Okay, you're gone. He's gone. Funko Pop's out of here.
I should have been like fake ranting, been like, this motherfucker, I just sped to get here. To be fair, it is a chase one. Although it's one of the gayest things you can get because it's Schitt's Creek.
Well played.
It's not even like superhero or anything.
I've got a few superhero ones. I'm not gonna lie. So I have some Batman stuff that people gave to me, which honestly, like Oliver, I swear to God. Can you hear him?
Oh yeah.
Just a little bit. Oh, there he is. Yeah.
He's I've got his bones hidden, and he knows they're hidden now. They're on a pool table. So he's over here under the pool table, just like looking up and then whining. I've got a few pops. I don't mind pops. I don't hate pops like you and Flaccid. I think they're fun. I swear to God, this dog, y'all. I might have to pause for a second. I've got a few superhero ones. My favorite one though is I have a pop of Captain America with the shield and Mjolnir, and I think it's pretty fucking rad. So,
but why not just get a 1/6 like figure from Hot Toys?
I mean, I'm not opposed to getting that as well. But if you're like looking to get something and only spend $12, it's not a bad go. And if you're gonna put stuff like if I'm gonna take stuff to my office, I'd rather take something that's $12, not like this freaking awesome, So
yeah.
Let me take care of this nightmare real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good, brother. Oh man, I almost booted him from the stream. I saw that Funko Pop, and my initial reaction was just like, "Get him out of here!" Yeah,
very smart.
That's a shame. Well, we got to keep.
Did Kyle just say very smart? Come on, Kyle.
Yes,
We've heard your takes on comics. Sit down and shut your mouth.
The right takes. You're right. I understand.
Yeah. What do you guys end with always on each video? Is Kyle 100% correct? Is he 100% incorrect?
Never.
Let us know in the comments, please.
Yeah. I'm practicing the nerd dismount. You mean getting rid of Josh? Oh yeah. My finger's always just waiting for Josh to say something, and I'm just ready to get him out of here. That's the whole stream. But
it's like Cecil, he's just like waiting for him to say something.
wait for
Yeah.
it.
just finger on the button, ready for it. Oh, that's kind of cool. Has chainmail. Yeah, I mean, our resident toy expert, who isn't here, Aaron Sparrow, he would have something to say about this, but oh well.
Yeah.
Made a video about melting down Funko Pops and turning them into something better. That would be cool. I would give you
Okay.
I would give you monies to see that. Yeah. But it would look all rainbow because it'd be all these different colors, and then it would be like, you're supporting Josh.
Batman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like molded into the rainbow Batman action figure. There you go.
So
There you go. Well, Josh, you wanna continue watching this video with us?
Yeah. I look. So I know I texted y'all yesterday, and I was like, I couldn't get through, or was it this morning? I don't know what day it was. I was like, I couldn't even get through 5 minutes of it. I watched this while driving home, so it just amplified my road rage. And then I had a running commentary as if someone else was in the car listening to me. So let's get on to it.
No, it's fine. I do the same exact thing, honestly. Like if it's Wes, if it's Perch, if it's your boy Zach, I will end up talking to them as if they can hear me in the car. It's interesting. But so and let me preface too that I think the kid has good intentions, but I think there's also a level of just, I don't know, there's a level of, this is what comic collectors look like now, and that's why the video made me cringe, because I was like, this is the new standard to what we're looking at for comic book collectors, and it is sad. And so I tweeted, I was like, get this kid a Fantastic Four 48 for the love of God, because this is the standard to which we're at. Like, guys, we need to, quote unquote, you need to do better, Senator. And that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, Josh definitely brought the sass. He just came from work, so I think that's probably why.
He hasn't read any comic books, clearly.
No, he has, but he read some interesting ones. I'll say that. Man.
The wrong.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. It's like, no, I read this one book, so I like comic books. It's like, shut up. No, you don't.
Well, and that was the thing. It's like, and we'll get to his first comic book ever. Why was it that one?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, out of every book you could have possibly chosen, that's the one that you decided to start reading comics at, So
I didn't even decide to read mine. Like, mine were given to me, and like, hey, read these. Like,
yep.
Okay.
There you go.
Sure.
I bought mine from, because I thought it was a toy store, ended up being a comic store, and I bought mine from like a 25-cent bin and ended up reading it in the car ride home, and I was like, this is my new life. This is how I'm going to live my life now. So yeah, here's kind of a little bit more of the intro.
Any Marvel mystery comics coming out of my end. However, as you can see back here, I do, in fact.
Oh, guys, look, he's got 4 short boxes. That's good. That's
full of junk, but that's fine.
Yeah, sure. Just random. Like, I guarantee it's nothing before 2016.
Have some books, though, not those books, but comic books. But first, that means I have to pick some out.
These angles. I half expected him to be on his head, like doing a handstand. Like,
that would have made it interesting. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Hey, sure. Like, okay, get that you're doing like the quippy, cool, hip, like arts. This is fucking artsy. Like, dude, just, I don't know.
Don't get me wrong.
He's so aggressive too with the jacket, and then he's grabbing his comics and fucking yanking his shit out. It's like,
he could have done
okay.
that, like, he could add a sound effect to it or something. Yeah.
Bad, but I have been chronically working on the budget of someone who doesn't make enough to even pay taxes half the time. I'm talking lemonade stands, okay? The most money I ever made was selling the New Mutants 98. So you know where I'm coming from. Which of course means I need to take the books off the wall.
Okay. All right. So he starts getting into some of like
next 3
the books
are going to be Spider-Man 50.
Do you guys remember these variants and how?
Yes, Sean had quite a few of those. He had boxes.
It was. I have never seen more simple comic book cover go have so much hype behind it. What are you laughing at, Josh? I didn't even say anything.
I just read Chris Naples' comment that says, "Dude's putting the fear of God in those books from when he opened it."
That's true. He's putting the fear of God in me when he threw his jacket down. I was like, Jesus, man, what are we getting ourselves into? Oh no, Mark McGrath. Two names.
Oh.
Just a bunch of Tom King and Mark Russell books.
Not far off.
Well, see, the thing is, Rachel, your channel is actual art. You're like crafting. Your angles for your art actually has to be a certain angle. So, and plus your editing was good. Like your how she edited her video was actually good. I have none and don't really get the collecting thing. JK, in terms of comic books, yeah, no, that's totally fine. I think people can read, digital comics. I think Josh is like something 4,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no, I think collecting is definitely like, it's a high price point, especially now. So there's nothing wrong with not collecting.
Well, I think there's, just speaking on collecting, some people are going to want to do it. Some people don't. Some people want comics just to read, and then after they read them, they get rid of them. I understand people wanting to read physical comics over digital. I got into digital just because when I was writing for different sites and reviewing comics, that's how they were sent to us in advance. What I find interesting about his collecting is he collects keys based on things involved with the MCU. Like every comic is almost something tied to that, or it's when he was like this comic here, when he's just starting to get into comics, I guess, again to read. So it's all newer stuff. But he makes a
key collector. That's why he's probably using key collector in going off that.
Yeah, but he makes a comment at some point where he's like, "Yeah, I really don't like this whole like buying into speculate or spec crap, but I got this one because of it." And then like every comic after that is like, "This is the first appearance of so and so. This is the first appearance of so and so. I got this one because this." It's like Captain Carter. It's going to be important because she's coming out in the MCU. This character is going to be featured in the MCU. Here's Echo. She's getting her own show. And I was like, dude, like what you just said you hated, you're doing. Like,
I was going to say he's got the first and second appearance of Echo.
He's got the first, second, and third.
Oh my God, does he really? You watched the video more intently than I
did. Because there's I also literally just watched it, so it's pretty fresh.
True.
But he's like, here's this comic. It's the second appearance of Echo. Oh, here's this comic. It's the third. And you might be wondering, do I have the first? No, I don't. And then it's a quick cut. He's like, just kidding. I just realized I do have this comic. Here's Echo's first appearance.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, I think it was around this time, I forget, where he starts calling X-23 Wolverine. Because he's like, I love all these different Wolverines. And I'm like, no. That's, you mean all the different X-23s? Like, yeah.
I'm going to show these to you. Uncanny X-Men number 18. Look at that gorgeous cover. The black and the white and the red. Sure looks like he's in a pickle. You're going to notice a bit of a theme with these next comics. We've got Only Wolverine 25. X-23 number 1.
Maybe it wasn't that one. He was talking about, because he does like to collect X-23, that's for sure. But I forget where in the video, because it's a 20-minute long video. So
see, I would ask him if he has that. Was it Wolverine number? Was it? I forget what number. It's like 78 or 79. When it's like the actual first appearance of X-23. It's in a vial.
Yeah,
it says X-23 on it. You're like, that man.
Technically, the first appearance.
Yeah, if you truly, just like you could say, the technical first appearance of Wolverine is in Foom number 2 or Foom number 3 or something.
Or
like
180.
Or 180.
or 180. Yeah, exactly.
Have one, buy one. What's holding you? Money? It's not much of it. It doesn't cost much of it. X-Men Red number 1. This is the variant. I think it. Let's see.
Ooh, X-Men Red. Nice.
What?
So here's the piece de resistance, though. Like, this is the one that that we all know and love. This was the clip that I showed you. But like I said, I think the biggest question I have is why was this the first one? I get why it's significant because everyone's first comic is significant, but the words that he uses to describe the book just made me cringe and want to put a bullet through my head. So here, I'll go ahead and play it.
The big one for me, big purchase. Now we got all new X-Men number 40. This is the first book that I ever read. This is the first comic I ever read. This is it's still to this day my favorite. I don't care about the condition of this thing whatsoever because
he just shows off like whatever. Okay,
it's destroyed. But every time I read this, it makes me happy. This is just peak
Marvel, and I wanted to pause it because that's the page. Look at the art. That's peak Marvel, guys.
Also, I'm pretty sure this is the scene where she tells Bobby he's gay, right?
100%.
Might be the prior page.
Yeah,
it's it's like right before that.
And this is right like
here.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's deemed as like one of the worst written things. Like even the gay community does not like it.
Well, and that's what I was gonna say, dude. Is like so I posted this clip on Twitter, and I had people like commenting saying like, not only was this written badly, it was offensive as fuck to a lot of gay people because it essentially made it out to be that a white woman was telling this kid that, oh, you're gay, by the way, and then he's going, oh, I realized my new sexuality because this other woman told me that. And it just seems so manipulative and poorly written.
I think he was watching that movie. Was it with Jack Black and the guy from the American Pie movies, Saving Silverman?
Oh,
yeah, where the male therapist tells them that they're gay. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gay." It's like, wait, what?
Yes.
When did this happen?
That's right, dude. Such a good film.
It's classic.
This is when we find out Bobby is gay, which is like the best scene ever.
It's the best scene ever, guys. Like ever. It's the best scene. And
is this young man gay? I mean, is that?
So I was going to comment on that. I'm going to assume, based on him saying that, he is. Okay. And if he's not, then he's virtue signaling like nobody's business. And I will also say, I understand having an affinity for things that you can identify with. Like when I was growing, but I'll say this: when I was growing up, there wasn't a ton of gay content out there, and if you did have it out there, you had to like search to find it. And when Netflix came out, like it definitely helped, like getting access to it. But because of where I lived and where I grew up, like you couldn't find it anywhere. So I understand finding some type of media that you can read or watch or whatever, and feel like, okay, this is personal for me. I get this. I'm in love with this. It's not great, but it's for me. You've got so much shit now that I'm like, why this? Of all things, why this book? But I don't know.
No, and that's a great point because, like you said, like there are so many better books out there that do show a better representation of like gay characters within a relationship that are actual superheroes and that do actual superhero things.
Give this young man some of the authority. Give him the absolute editions. Take 2 of these. Call me in the morning. See what happens.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point, and I wonder if it is just like this thing of that he hasn't been saturated into the world enough to see that there are these other avenues of books that he could probably read and approach, because like you said, it sounds like a lot of the stuff that he's collecting is based off of MCU hype, and he does have some keys, but like in terms of reading quality, like it sounds like he's never read a book in his life, and so that's what's like, but
I agree. And like, look, I know I'm coming in kind of hot and harping on him. I'll give him credit. At the very end of the video, he is like, hey, I just wanted to share with you what I like from my collection. And I know it's not, very big, but thanks for tuning in. Because I guess whatever video inspired him, that person was like, hey, like whether your collection is big or small, show the world what you've got. Look, if you're going to be passionate about comics, I'm all for it. But I think we can be so cynical, and I think so much of our cynicism here isn't so much of like you're an idiot, but so much of like, dude, like just read more, because it seems like whatever little money he has that he is spending, he's spending to put it towards trying to buy keys and stuff. And it's like just go buy some trades, man. Go read some comics, and you're gonna discover so many things that you love so much more than what you already have. But
yeah, and those books he showed, all of those I have seen at our half-price books for like 25 cents, 50 cents, maybe $1. Those are not expensive books.
No.
This is a good point, Harley. Makes me feel fantastic. It makes me realize that my stuff is truly being shadow banned.
Now we know, it's like you could be like, this. You remember this young man? This was me 10 years ago. This is where I'm at now. This is what I have behind me now.
This is me now. Yeah. This is old Max and new Max. No, and I think that's a great point, Josh, is because like, yeah, I think that people out of context, if people saw us talking about this clip, they'd go, oh, you guys are just a bunch of bullies just pointing and making fun. I think I'm more just astonished at the fact that I feel bad that this is his favorite comic. This is a pathetic comic book. It's written poorly. It is drawn excruciatingly, painfully bad. It's not good. And it seems like he wants to be within this comic book collecting thing, which is fine, but read more, dude, like please. And so I think that's what you were saying, Josh, is we're not trying to make fun of him or try and bash him or bully him or punch down because, oh, he's got a lesser collection. Like, I don't collect keys. I collect 90s like shit trash stuff sometimes because it's my full run.
Yeah.
I get a full run of something, and sometimes there's some really bad books in there, but I have that full run. That's how I like to collect.
Yeah.
Everyone has their
boom, all the variants too. Love it.
Yeah, there you go. And so yeah, I think just to preface, like, and I wanted to kind of piggyback off of your point, Josh, is that I don't think we're trying to bash him and like his collecting style. I just think it's sad that this is what people are reading right now, and they're accepting this level of mediocrity when there's so much better stuff out there that they could be reading or could be getting invested into. So
agreed. I've got to pause for a second because I saw Flaccid pop up.
Oh no.
His eyes
Flaccid.
twitching. He probably just threw half the shit in his office.
Yeah. Flaccid. I did kick him for a second because he showed off that Funko.
It's one of those things where it's like, I wish that kid were around here. I want to have a talk with him. Be like, dude, you are reading. It's like, I love the fact you're reading. That's fantastic. But you're arguably reading the worst era in Marvel history. The worst. And I will let you know, there are about 60 years prior to that were much better than that you can be reading from right now. Literally, I'll toss out long boxes. Just throw a dart, and you'll find a better comic book than what you're reading right now.
Oh, absolutely, man.
Even NFL Pro, Super NFL Pro, better than that.
It's like, yeah, when you said I want to talk to this kid, yeah, you almost kind of want to like sit him down and be like, put your hand on his shoulder and just kind of go, all right, let's have a talk. You know, like let's really, because there's no reason why this should be peak Marvel or the best scene ever. I think, and we'll get to our favorite or our first comic books. And I think there's a difference between, like, I recognize that the first comic I ever read is not a great comic, but it still means a lot because it's your first comic, and that's what's important, right? Like your very first comic ever. Same thing with like movies, like Daredevil, the first Daredevil with Ben Affleck. I think people can recognize it's not a great movie, but it's still a lot of fun to watch.
It's garbage. It's fun trash to watch. Like Tango and Cash. I love watching it.
Yeah. And so I think that's where there's a difference as well. But J-Law was the first dart thrower. Too many Jennifer Lawrences running around. Yeah. Oh no! Throws a dart, hits Heroes in Crisis #1. Damn it!
I said Marvel, so that wouldn't be in there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. When the bar is so low that minimal effort draws praise, it's a great opportunity for anyone who wants to disrupt the market. Well, potentially hard. Well, yeah, because say we do get something that's like amazing.
Like Born of Blood, stores right now currently. Number 5.
Ooh, yeah. Number 5. Yes, thank you. If you have a link, I'll share it, or we can put it in the chat. Raylo says this generation thinks everything going on is the first time something is happening, mainly because industries and politics are telling them this. We need a history lesson. Well, Raylo, that's a great point in terms of like, I've been reading a lot of back issues recently. I just finished the Kitty Pryde and Wolverine 6-issue miniseries. I've been reading some Marvel Presents stuff. And what I've been finding is that these are books from like 85 to 90. So these are 30 plus years, and there's representation. There's better representation. There's better storytelling. There's better character development. And Kitty Pryde Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, that 6-issue miniseries, is led by Kitty and Yukio. Wolverine is only like a sidekick in the book. Kitty and Yukio are the main characters for the most part of the book. So you want to talk about female representation and you want to talk about female empowerment. This was 1985 and they were doing it way better than they're doing it now. And so I think that's the thing, is like kids think that, oh, this is the best representation we've ever seen without even actually seeing, hey, 1985, we were getting it way better. You've get more views if MV Penis did a video apologizing for being a toxic male. Yeah, you're right, honestly. Yeah, our attention span is virtually nil at this point. Let me see if there's anything else on the video that I might have forgotten.
Angel and Laura Kinney have a kiss each other in this one for the first time. It's just nothing
makes it a good book.
In the X-Men's world and during this book, nothing is wrong.
What the fuck? When he said that, when I first heard that, I'm like, what's the point of reading it?
Yeah. And I knew specifically that was probably going to be what got you guys, like, because I always, like, Kyle, I know that one of your big things in a comic, there has to be some sort of stakes there. You know, there has to be some sort of maybe potential consequence of the actions that some of these heroes do. And that is true. Within a story, you want something to add stakes to it. And Drew, whenever you write Born of Blood, there's always some sort of like, what do you call it? Not suffering, but there's growth. You know, there's always progression within the story.
Some form of tension going on.
Right.
This is going to be me, like, definitely harping on him, but you've got to find where he's going through discussing the Shield book.
Ooh, can you find a timestamp? Oh, you mean the last one? The last one, right? His very last comic, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Is that the last one he talks about?
I believe so. Okay.
Here, let me try to see if I can find something real quick.
Okay.
Franco cover one?
Yes. Yeah. Maybe. Let's see. But no, that was another thing where he was like, "Oh, this makes it a good book because the two characters kiss and they're in a utopia, which means that there's nothing wrong." And I was like, this sounds like the most boring melodramatic crap I've ever heard before.
This is the type of shit you would love reading in the current X-Men books right now, and they're living on.
Actually,
right there. Yeah,
that's very, very true.
He is their market demographic.
Yeah,
everything is good, and they're just existing with each other as kids, and it's just perfect, guys. They're just merely existing. What's wrong?
Did you forget the point of the X-Men? Never mind.
It is one of the most important things. Prized possession. This is Nick Fury, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., number 7.
So is this the one that you were thinking of, Josh?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I rolled my eyes at this conversation.
Really? Okay.
I missed this part. I haven't heard. I think I stopped when it got to this.
Okay. So this is where I was like, okay, I'm a bully, because he was kind of saying like, yeah, you know, I had a tough, you know, like upbringing or whatever. Like as a kid, I was always scared.
Dude, just
play
I
it?
would say just play it.
Just play it. Okay.
Just play it.
I'll let
Wait,
you.
guys,
I'll let
right
you take
Like,
this one.
we
yeah.
have-
I don't want to come across as a bully, but you're being so nice to this kid at this point. Just let him discuss it.
Yeah.
So we haven't seen this yet. So this is the
Yeah.
first.
I love sassy Josh. We need him more on the stream. But yeah.
This was also a poster in my room as a kid. So like Captain America 102, I stared at this cover an endless amount of time. And it is a gorgeous Jim Steranko cover from 1968.
Yeah.
It is Dali inspired, of course. And it is easily my favorite cover of all comics. When I was growing up, I had some mental health issues. I was scared a lot. And I was scared for my life at times. And I remember being in my room.
Do
I was
you like
laughing
the
at
little
Kyle's
pause?
face.
Oh,
That's-
okay. Sorry. I thought you were. let me know when to pause it, guys. This is dramatic.
Utterly terrified of everything in the entire world. Turning over and seeing this cover, I remember this very, very vividly. And thinking, you know what? Look what he's going through right there.
It's true. Imagine being stuck in a Dali painting.
It would be.
That would be
trippy, I
tough.
give it that.
Yes.
It would be trippy.
Dali.
I'm not dealing with anything nearly that bad. And I would try and it would help me calm myself down when I'd see something else happen. Because I knew that my situation, which was all in my head, it was not so big a deal.
Oh wait, so he didn't actually go through anything? Was it in his head?
I
then?
don't know. I just terrified about everything in the world. It's like, okay, this is we're laying it on a little thick here.
Yeah.
And look, if the poor kid actually has some diagnosis, I will apologize profusely. But it seems like it's there for the dramatics of it, so people are going to be like, oh, there's some girl or some gay man, which we will see in a video later tonight. That's probably like, oh my god, that's so sweet.
He's still brave.
It's when you see stuff like that now, like on YouTube videos, it's typically done in parody, but now you're seeing it's sincere. It's like, oh, he's sincere. This is
Bad.
Yeah, you don't let. Yeah, someone should have told him beforehand. Like, don't air this. Don't.
No. I mean, it is his first video, so I guess Harley says this shit gives me mental health issues. And you're right, Flaccid. Sassy Josh is the goat.
You know what it is? It's that I haven't eaten dinner, and I'm kind of like eating. I've got a PB&J sandwich over here because
Is it Uncrustable?
It looks like
No. An Uncrustable. Do I look like I'm 4? I make my own, man. Come on.
I like a fucking grown adult. I
That's
make my
why.
own grilled cheese.
That's
and
why I've got
PB&J.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich followed by cereal. No, I knew
that
I was
actually
gonna
sounds
be,
really good. Yeah.
I knew it was going to be completely obnoxious if I didn't, or I'd be super pissy and just like I hate everything. I'd be like, Max, your hat sucks tonight.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Drew, and your Venom shirt. Is that even Venom? No, it's not.
It's Spawn.
Oh yeah.
Well, no,
Come on.
fuck
It's-
his Spawn shirt too, because after
Yeah.
Vaughn Unwanted Violence, I never want to read a Spawn comic book ever again. So
Thank you.
no, I'm kidding.
Fair.
But yes, no, I think I don't know, man. There's this weird aspect of like it comes across not genuine.
Mhm.
It feels like he's like, okay, dramatic pause here. And so and there's like it feels like it's a bit manufactured, and especially because it's Nick Fury Agents of Shield number set like the cover. You know what? Maybe if it were Superman, whatever happened to the world, or whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, where Superman is in the Fortress of Solitude and Crypto is sitting right next to him, and he's looking down and he's broken, he's distraught.
Yeah.
That image, if you were to say that were his poster, and he'd look at that and he'd go, man, if Superman's going through it, I can get through it. But Nick Fury in a Dali painting, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
There's something about this generation that's got this need to like, I don't know, overshare or create like it's just something weird. It doesn't ever seem like it's genuineness. It seems like it's like well, this is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm like paint by numbers. This is what I'm supposed to do to be a good person in life. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say this. Oh, I just got 200 more subscribers than Max.
To say how great I am and how right I am and how great my books are. And aren't I the best person ever for having this comic book collection? It's like, no, you're a fucking moron. You're an asshole. I don't care what anybody says. You're too nice to this kid. He's a fucking dickhead. I don't care. I don't care about your fake mental shit. It's like, grow the fuck up. If you're going to put a YouTube video out there, you cannot be above comments. You cannot be above criticism. People come at me all you want. I don't give a shit. You say I suck. I don't care. But
I tell you that daily. I mean,
exactly.
Come on. And you go, yeah, so do you. And I go, yeah, hello, I'm gay.
So this kid's like, I'm going to put my video out there, but don't come at me because of my mental problems. It's like, no, tough shit. You're an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, if and you know, I had to learn that the hard way. Is like, if I put out something that even if I was like super passionate about it, and I was like, well, if you know, this is like a passion project for me, and I'd still get shit on. I think even one of my earliest videos, I talked about Tim Drake Robin and how they had made him bisexual. We all know they made him gay in his comic book, and my you know video was really simple. It was just like, why? It doesn't seem necessary. It seemed kind of forced, and I got ratioed, and it was my first video ever. It was in my first month, and I got ratioed hard, and people were calling me a racist and a bigot and all this shit. And I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, like tough luck, dude. You put your video on, and that's what I had to tell myself. Like, I openly put my video to the world publicly to talk about that, and if people wanted to come in and bash me, that is their right to do so. And so over the years, like obviously I had to, you know, get better at that. But yeah, I do think it is also disingenuous when people say, well, it's my opinion, so you can't really attack me for that. And it's like, well, no, because if I have an opinion and you make fun of me for that, you have every right to do that. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's not like, oh, well, mine is a sob story. I don't know. There's But
no. It's like as soon as you air it, you know, as soon as you let it out there for the whole world to see, you're now open to criticism. You can try to use that wall of mental health as much as you want, but you only get you so far.
Yeah. This is the image that I was talking about earlier, where Alan Moore writes, he looked as if he'd been crying. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, it is a simple image, and it is dark. It's scary. It's sad. You feel lonely, like by looking at this image. It's perfect. So much of it is so well done. But yeah, so like this, I could see, like, if you were talking about this as a poster, I'd be like, that tracks. But yeah, I don't know about the other one though. If you guys wouldn't mind vamping for a second, I am going to run to the restroom real quick.
Okay.
If you want to talk about Funko Pops, or if you want to talk about anyone in the chat, Harley just put something. Oh my Lord. But I will be right back.
That's awesome, Harley.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that we're like creating dead silence because we're over here reading.
Yeah, I know. Actually reading something.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Did you read anything this week, Josh?
I have not read any comics yet this week, so I'm gonna have to read tonight before I hop on the show tomorrow with Wes and see if there's anything worthwhile. We'll see.
Phantom Road, Jeff Lemire's new book.
Really did pick that up, so that will probably be the first thing I read.
I saved that for last because it turned out being my pick of the week. I saved my best stuff for last because I want to.
You know, I used to do that when I was reading everything to cover it. I would save my best for last because I needed something to help me get to the end. Now that I don't have to read these things, if I try to start with what I think's the worst, I read it and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not reading these tonight. I'm not. And then I'll wake up. Yeah, I wake up the next morning and I'm like, nope. Like, just nope out. So, hey, do you still have that video up?
Yes. Yeah, I still have the tab.
can you? There's just one more thing because I'm trying to remember now what he says, but I think it's around the 14-minute mark.
Okay.
Because he talked about the first comic he read was that X-Men book, but I feel like he says something else was his first comic.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Yeah, because I watched this probably a week ago, and so it's not like really fresh in my brain. The only reason why I knew that ending clip was only because I knew I wanted to talk about it tonight. But okay, so you said around 14. I think he's got Weapon X right now, which, hey, Weapon X, baby, like that's my bread and butter. That's one of my favorites. So,
I mean, looking back on it, it's very silly, but it's an important book to me. This is the True Believers reprint of Marvel Comics Presents number 72, 73, and 74, I believe. It is beat to hell because I read it so many times. This is one of the first reprints I ever bought, and that kicked off my love for comic books and reading. I just love Barry Windsor Smith's art on that.
So
was that his first then? Because he said it kicked off. So
Well, and that's not even what I need to see what it's when he gets the Squadron Supreme book. That's what I'm looking for.
That's
Squadron-
right after
well, I
this.
do.
Yeah.
Number
okay.
8.
Little fun fact: that True Believer book that's selling anywhere between $5 to $10 all day. That True Believers for the Weapon X. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I mean, there are some in here that he's like, oh, these are high value, and then others where he's like, oh, this is like not very like spec heavy, but it's just I liked it or something like that. So I don't know. He goes kind of back and forth because his top 50 comic books in his collection, I think he goes back and forth between like this one I like because it's really expensive, or this one I like because it's beautiful cover, or this one I like because of the story. So I think it's just top 50 in general.
Who cares about this book? Well, I do, because this is one of the first, I think it's the first comic book I ever bought.
Oh, first comic you ever bought?
He didn't read
Maybe-
it.
That's what I was gonna ask. So he bought it, but didn't read it. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
So this is really important to me. Simply because
I mean, it's a cool cover. You got Hyperion on the front, just fucking bashing some dude.
I found it in like a thrift store or something, and I needed to have it, and that's what kicked off my love for comic books. X-Men Legacy.
Liar. Liar. Wait a second. Yeah, now I don't feel so bad anymore because now he's just making shit up.
Hey, come on in. The water's fine. Right over here.
Yeah.
Feels so nice.
I end up hiring people from time to time, and I describe them as people that like to talk just for the sake of talking. And he reminds me of those people, and I'm just like,
I could see that.
They make the meetings even longer. Jeez.
yeah.
I could see that. Even if there's like, there's nothing to say or there's nothing to add to that conversation or to that meeting, they'll just say like, oh, I agree because of this, this, and that. And it's like, Johnson already said that, but thank you. Like, we just discussed that, but thanks. Chris says this dude's got like 6 books that kicked off his
This was my first book.
This is my first book. Yeah. So this is the first book I ever bought. This is the first book I ever read. Here's the first book I ever was gifted. Like just so many gifts.
Even when I was on the toilet. Here's the
Yeah.
Oh.
What a shallow human being. Did maybe parents buy prior books? Maybe.
Could be.
Probably. Yeah.
And JK, I actually have a graded book that is that has no significant meaning. It has like no spec value, no intrinsic value. It's not a great story, but my mom gave it to me for like my birthday or something like a few years back, and I love it. So yeah, there are things that we can be gifted or given or something within our collection that we like, but we can also recognize that it's not the best thing in the world, but it has value for other reasons, So this is fake, right? Like this is clout show. Maybe he does seem like a drama school kid. Maybe that's what it is. A true thespian. Oh, Josh, did you? You're frozen.
Comics
Oh,
Elite Theater. That's where he got his lessons.
yeah. No, the Comics Elite Theater is one of my favorite weekly theater presentations. I really enjoy that.
Put a lot of time
We
into it.
put a lot of time into that. Yes.
Yeah.
Time out. First of all, trying to eat peanut butter while on a stream is the worst idea ever.
You're
Secondly-
like the dog who's just like. Yep.
Second, why are we hating on theater kids now? Come on.
It's too easy. Come on.
I will say that I did a little bit of theater in high school.
This all makes perfect sense now. Another
However,
piece of
yeah. So maybe I really am this kid in high school. I don't know.
See?
But I think you can recognize, like, I did theater presentations or theater productions, and I would be in it and I'd be like, oh, that's a theater kid. Like there's a differentiation between like being in theater class and then being like, that's a theater kid, Didn't he say at the beginning of the video that he said, what's up?
I was going to say, no, I'll completely agree. Because while I was a theater kid, we did not do musicals or that type of stuff. We did straight plays. We went for serious stuff.
Nice.
We took it seriously, but yeah,
That's
completely agree.
Yeah, where are those comics that he got at a very young age? That's a good point too.
I think those were all it. Those were probably all
that's
them.
it.
That may have been it.
Maybe. The pieces aren't adding up.
None of
Where's
it.
the book? First book he stole, Mr. Negative. This one has such significant value to me. This is the first book I ever stole.
I'd buy that.
Yeah.
Like, all right, that's cool. Good for you.
Yeah. I would ask Josh to pass the helmet, but it kind of has a weird smell to it now. I wonder why. He does seem to be covering his bases, Zaxx. That's fair. To be fair, maybe that douche just sucks at telling an honest story about his job. Thanks, Harley.
Part of me does wonder though, like what is the draw with this kid? Because like didn't you say he hasn't had his channel for very long?
This is his first video, and it was put out 6 days ago. And if you look at the comments, they're all like, love the editing, subbed, or like, man, this is so like, these are some great books. You just earned a sub or something. And I'm like, listen, he seems like a fine kid and like whatever. He's just sharing his love of his comics or whatever. But to say like, oh, I love this editing, it's like, dude, I've seen some really good videos that have much less support than this channel. But oh well.
And first off, that's all it takes for you to sub. You didn't care about any of the content. I just like how he puts a video together like it's a fucking TikTok. It's like that gets you to sub.
Again, I'm wondering. One part of me wonders if he has a TikTok and has a following there, and being legitimate,
Maybe.
and that these people are kind of like, so he's cute. We'll follow. Okay, but legitimately, like I feel like that has to be it.
Yeah, no, that could be a potential. There's a guy who's on YouTube right now who has like a couple 100,000 followers. But on TikTok, he's got like something million followers on TikTok. And he just does like random comic stuff. He like does reactions, but he's moved all of his followers from TikTok over to YouTube. So now he's got that dual income, so that could potentially be what this kid's doing. I don't know. That's a great idea. Maybe Max can get more views. I would love to get more views. maybe I need to start doing videos like this.
Pick the dumbest books you can find at any store and say these are the greatest books I've ever owned.
Guys, this means so much to me. So X-Men Green, you follow this girl who kills an innocent man in a grocery store, and that just it's like peak Marvel. No.
Okay, but if you
Um,
do it, you have to edit your video like he edits his videos.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you have to do
It
it
has
as
to be like-
MVP or MVP-ness with
Hey,
your
what's up,
silkies
guys?
on. Yeah.
Hey, it's so great to see you guys. So here are my comic books. Like everything has to be quick
I'm
got
sorry.
and like different
Content.
angles.
Yeah,
and
just
all
show a
that.
wig. We have
Yeah.
to give you a wig to put on underneath the.
I need a wig that has like because his other video has similar editing, but his hair is like super cool coif kid, you know.
Ooh.
I just want the intro where you come in and throw your jacket down and then cut to an angle where your microphone's like sitting on the table taped and then you grab and you're like, hi, I'm MVP-ness.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Yeah.
ASMR.
Yeah. Every new book you read should be the best book you've ever read. I will unsub if you make a video. Oh man, maybe I should make that would actually be a really interesting concept. Is if I made a second channel, but did a complete parody of like really popular channels, and I guarantee it would actually do really well.
See,
Like if I just yeah.
Kyle and I had talked about doing that like on April Fool's Day, like we'll come out like wearing whatever the I can burn the shirt. Ask me about my feminist agenda shirts. Like they'll be incredibly tight,
Yeah.
whatever, and
Mhm.
like pink wigs on. Just talking about like this book was amazing. Just all the opposite books that we hate would be the best ones.
Yes.
all the best ones, would be the worst. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be really funny. But then what the scary thing is that would people recognize that what you're doing is real or fake? You know?
It's fun,
That's the fun part
Because
of
the people
it.
who sub to
That's
the
the
channel
fun.
who do watch the videos be like, "This is bullshit."
Yeah.
But like others
Yeah.
be like, "Oh my god, they're so amazing."
Yeah, these guys are great. Subbed. Yes, that's true, Paul. If I do that, I'll owe you an entire bottle of whiskey. But yeah, that was Flaccid, and that's something that's so interesting that you say. I had put out something on Twitter a little while ago where I basically said, like, listen, we need to temper our expectations of trailers and comic books, because when we make everything so amazing, then nothing is amazing. And people gave me shit for it because they're like, just let people enjoy what they want to enjoy. And I'm like, I never said that they couldn't do that, but I also think that it's important that we, like, they can enjoy it, but if they enjoy it to where it's the bestest ever, then they're not being honest with themselves, and they're trying to gain clout for no other reason than just to be part of the talk. And that's what kind of hurts because then when something actually really good does come out, how are we supposed to differentiate between the screaming wails of Funko Pop collecting, like clapping seals, as opposed to someone who is, this guy who actually has Funko Pops, or someone who actually genuinely is like, who's like, oh, this was a really great trailer and I really liked it. No one's going to listen to that guy because he's level-headed and he actually has some good points or whatever. So, hello, what's going on, brother? Thanks for being here.
When you made that post, didn't you share a clip of Soups like completely losing it while watching the
Like,
trailer?
Having a brain aneurysm.
Yeah. I remember I like when you get rough. Wakes up Josh. Hey, MVP-ness.
Ooh,
so-
look who it is. I got to do the. Now we look similar, right?
Were you on the Duke lacrosse team?
Fuck yeah, bro. Dude, the chat really wants me to get rid of you, Josh. They really do not like that you have Funko Pops on the stream.
Look, Flaccid has no say in this. He has to say Monday night, and that's it. What I was going to say is that the day you posted that and you had that clip, one of my friends who deals with comics and movies and stuff, his name's Paul Herman, and he's usually like the nicest guy. He's like, let people read stuff. Absolutely, yeah. And even he was like, he posted another clip of another YouTuber that's just like Soups who loses his mind, and he's like, this guy looks like he uses the same acting coach as Soups, and I was like, damn, if Paul's coming after y'all, that has to say something. So
yeah, dude, that's savage. Yeah, sorry, Kyle. MVP played football. He didn't play lacrosse. Yeah. But no, you're right, man. And that's what's so interesting is like when people who are even saying like, whoa, this is a little much, that's how you really know it's gone too far. When someone's like, did you get acting lessons from Soups? Then you know, okay, this is a troll, or this is someone who's completely out of touch or has no self-awareness whatsoever. So yeah. Thanks for being here, Steph. Great to see you. Take what off? Take them off? Take everything off? I don't know. So I think here I'll just show the last his second video essentially, which is like just the best editing I've ever seen in my life. But this is the wig that I need to get. I need to get like a cool fucking, young hip lacrosse guy. So
Comics. I collect them. And I know that if you're watching this, that means you probably do too. It's a great hobby, and I'd say that most
he did the Chris Collinsworth. He slid in the chair.
even
he did a who?
Chris Collinsworth, Sunday Night Football.
Oh.
I do
the reading half the time, dodging panties. However, I remember when I was first getting into comic books.
See,
if it wasn't for such,
this is what I mean by I think he's about to do a headstand every time he goes on the like. He's like. So I collect comics, and it's like,
lower.
Yeah, he keeps getting like lower to the floor. But yeah, I need a wig that like perfectly has that wave that he's got. Like, yeah.
Such ADHD hyperfocus. I must admit, it could have been a little bit hard.
thank God for those top 10 beginner comic book collector tips on YouTube. Without those, I'd be so lost that I'm.
Why? Why are you in the corner? The screen's over here.
Who are you talking to?
He's talking to his chair.
I might even think Hulk 181 was.
Oh,
he's in a dorm, right? Like this has to be a dorm.
It looks like it's
a yeah, it's 100% got to be a dorm because those all look like school textbooks. So it's for sure.
I'm just like, does he have a roommate? Like, and is his roommate sitting in the other bed being like,
shut the
"What
fuck
the
up?
fuck are you doing?"
Are you making another one of your fucking videos again, you fucking nerd? Poor kids just being bombarded on all sides. Max plays football but doesn't know Chris Collinsworth. Very sus.
Thank you.
It is sus.
That is sus. That's true. I you know what? I'll admit that. But I will say, playing is different than commentating. So
he played. Yeah. Collinsworth football.
Well, no, I'm saying like I don't necessarily watch commentators, but I played. But yeah, no, like Jeff Saturday played, and he's commentating now. Yep. I'd listen to his commentary.
And coached.
Yeah, he coached.
Not too well. Yeah. But yeah.
Ooh. Just shows, I mean, like, you can be a fantastic center, but maybe not a head coach. I don't know.
Yep.
I was really hoping that he was going to, like, bring it home because I was a center in college. Hey, so I was really hoping for him to be like, yeah.
Almost beat the Eagles this year. Almost beat them. So.
And then had the worst comeback in NFL history.
Yeah.
Also. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
His roommate is fucking pissed right now.
Yes.
Yeah. He's sniffing his own farts. ADHD hyperfocus that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because isn't that two contradictory things?
Yes.
If you have ADHD, you're always distracted. You can't focus.
Clearly, you can tell.
Yeah, so maybe you're focused. You're so focused on everything else except for the thing that you need to be focused on. Raylo, I played from 2011 to like 2014. I want to say. So it was a hot minute ago. Thank you for the amazing insight, Max. Playing is different than commenting.
The more you know.
We need the little star. Dun, dun, dun. The more you know. You're welcome, Flaccid. Hey, that's why you come to this channel, is for those beautiful insights. Yep. So, but yeah, no.
Doing that like a Comic Tom thing. I feel like that's kind of what he's trying to do.
Maybe, but even I like Comic Tom more than this, and Comic Tom doesn't do these types of
No,
edits. I don't think.
I've met
Yeah.
Comic Tom. He's a nice guy. He's a very nice guy, and he's aware of our channel. I was
Yeah.
surprised by that. He's aware of us.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's like he's
Yeah.
trying to do that, but really bad, like
Mm.
terrible. He thinks this is what Comic Tom is. It's like no, you're not even right. But I'm gonna edit it really quickly and have my hair all weird and speak gibberish.
he'll be bald in 5 years.
Hey, don't say that. So yeah, maybe it truly is like he's Bizarro me, or he's like me from the past.
Yeah.
If I didn't, if I collected a different comic book. MV Penis, now you're trying to steal my identity. I was a captain. You were a center. That's a different thing. But so yeah, that's pretty much all. He goes into like more of like, what other things he collects and like how he collects. And he said like, because you don't want to give a spine tick to the comic books, you like pick them up from the top and not from the side. So just like little tips and tricks, I think that he is mentioning that he, I guess would say is like his, some things that he would like mention. I got through about half of this and I was like, oh, that's fair. This one though, I did watch this one. This one's scary. He was saying, if you're trying to clean your book, like if it's a white cover, you can use the little magic eraser and like take some of the color rub off. And I was like,
that is true.
I don't know, dude, because
That is true.
I've tried to do that before, and it will rub that fucking color off. Even if you have a,
that's why you do it on a white. If you do it on a white back, if you do it on a white, it'll clean it right up. But like on any other cover, fuck no, don't you dare.
Yeah. So he kind of goes into that a little bit and talks about different, books, and I don't know. So I mean, that's that's just one of the few things that.
Yeah. First book you ever read.
That's a good point. So speaking of first book he ever read.
Yep.
This was actually my first book that I ever read, and it looks something like this. The Darkness.
Darkness, everybody. Darkness.
The Darkness. But cool fucking David Finch cover. Gotta give it that. David Finch does the whole. Yeah, he does actually. He does the whole book on interiors. And I gotta say, not like a super great story. Like it's basically the darkness in medieval times, and he comes and takes out this king who has been ruling, and he's like this kind of ruthless, kind of arrogant asshole. And so darkness kind of puts him in his place and fucks him up. Cool little Frank Frazetta-esque type cover here. But yeah, I mean, like these interiors were just so freaking rad. This was my first introduction to David Finch. So though it means something to me in terms of like, it's a cool book and it brings a lot of nostalgia, I can completely recognize that it is not by any stretch of the imagination peak Top Cow or peak Image. You know what I mean? Like this was just 90s, right? So
but at the same time, it's got images in there that will resonate. Like that splash page that's gonna resonate with you.
Hell yeah. As opposed to, look what I have. Oh wait, I didn't share my my tab because I am a total noob and I don't actually know how to do StreamYards. Yay! All new X-Men number 40, his first book, guys.
Oh, they're
look at that art. And this was the static, cartoony nature of these images, the nonsensical coloring of like just no backgrounds, digital coloring and drawing. And here's the page that really,
been mocked,
really just
ridiculed. 5 years.
Yeah. But what? Come on. What's happening? Bobby, you're gay. What? Why would you say that? Because I'm a psychic. I can read your thoughts. Oh, so good. She just told him.
It's almost it's about as ham-fisted as that scene from Law and Order where the guy says, I have sex with men, relationship with women. Hate to tell you, but you're gay.
Yeah. That's such a good comparison. But yeah, this feels so uninspired. Like just the art, like, regardless of the story, even if we were to put the story aside, this artwork, like, I could not imagine reading this. If this were my first comic book ever and I looked at this art, I'd be like, fuck comic books. These things are lame.
It's bland, unexciting. There's nothing dynamic going on. Nothing dynamic. The dynamic does not exist.
Just talking.
Talking. Well, it's a Bendis comic. It's a Bendis comic. We're doing a lot of talking.
And in this panel, it's actually what I'm doing as I'm reading the book. I'm slamming my head up against the table.
I would like to think that's the editor reading this.
Yeah, right. That would be the editor. Here's where they kiss, guys. So
stunning brave.
Stunning and brave.
Yeah.
Finally, we get like antagonists.
Maybe.
Wow.
I don't know.
We don't
Maybe,
know
possibly. But so with that being said, this was his first book, but I wanted to ask you guys, what was your first book? Do you guys remember what the first book you had read or purchased or something like that? Do you remember what that was?
I've got I know my first two. Anyone else want to go first? Kyle?
Mine was Jim Lee's X-Men #1. I mean, that's the one I
remember. Oh my God.
Yeah. Reading that, seeing it. I mean, just being completely blown away by that as a kid. I mean, I will always remember that.
I was going to say, man, that started you out right. I mean, like, that's a high bar.
Hey,
I was going to say.
You're in the house.
Yeah, what's going on, Yule? Good to see you, brother. Yeah, he said best page ever.
Indeed.
Man, that's great. I've got even though it was printed like 3,000 million billion times, I do have that one graded just because it's a classic.
Iconic at this point, yeah.
And to be honest with you, they're going up in price. They are.
I know,
somehow just like Youngblood ones. Yes. It's shocking. I know.
Oh,
they're going up. Wow. There's demand for them now,
especially 9/8. Yeah. If you got all of them in 9/8, they're stupid expensive.
For which ones? Sorry.
X-Men 1. If you have all 4 of the Jim Lee connecting in 9/8.
Oh yeah.
And if you have the gatefold cover one, because now that is technically the first cameo appearance of Omega Red. Yep. He's in a poster, so that one is going for more money now.
I think that was the one that I got because it was like there was a collector's edition one where they had the gatefold front cover where it had all 4 covers on it. And I think that's the one that I had graded. But yeah, no, they're all gorgeous, and it's one of the most iconic posters of the X-Men to date. You can think about stuff without being gay, right? I don't know. I don't know, Flaccid. That's a good question.
Josh, what was your first comic?
So this might actually explain a little bit about why I like this character because it goes back to my roots. But the first comic that I can remember having in my hands and flipping through wasn't necessarily mine. It was my brother's, but it was Huntress number 17. And it was the first one that cameoed Batman in that run. And I think that's why my brothers got it. But I just remember they were the ones that they cherished and loved and they would keep out of my reach. And the ones they're like, all right, cool, I read it. It's, and they'd put it kind of lower. You got to go, 1989 Huntress.
89 or 94?
89.
And,
that run, number 17. And then after that, it was mainly just the thing that I remember the most is Death of Superman. And it was the collection of it. And this was later on in the 90s. My brothers would not let me touch it. But I remember my brother Tim was like, I will sit down and I will read this to you. And that was probably the first time I really got into comics. Because when I went through this, I couldn't read. I was like 2. I just flipped through the pages. I thought Huntress was Batgirl because she's wearing purple. Like, but I distinctly remember this cover with the fire, her, and Batman, and that's how I know like that was the first comic I flipped through. The first comic I remember trying to read on my own around probably the age of like 4 or 5 is it was an Elseworld story, but it was an Elseworld story or Earth 2 story that had Batman and Catwoman together. Joker was like the commissioner of the GCPD. And then it was pretty morbid, but he has Robin. Like Robin is Batman and Catwoman's son, and he kills Batman and Catwoman. I need to figure out what that book was because it was dark. I remember my dad ended up flipping through it and got pissed that I had it. So I'm sure he threw it away. That's why I don't have it anymore.
I remember having some manga as a kid, and like manga is super. There were some books with manga that was like anime titties just everywhere, and like that's how it was. And I remember, my parents had looked through it, and they were like, "Have you read this already?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's great." They were like, "Yeah, no, you're not. You can't have this.
You're too enthusiastic."
Yeah. But no, this is really rad, man.
I mean, look, the art's not the best. Storytelling was all right. There were some stories in this run that I thought were actually pretty damn good. Some of them touched on some social issues, but so much better than they do today, like poverty and just There's I think it was the first use of the Clue Master in was it Clue Master? It might have been someone else.
But going off this palette, what I'm seeing here with the Huntress front, like this is clearly after year 1 has come out, so they're really going for a grim and gritty Gotham, kind of like a year 1 vibe with a dark palette, and I dig that. I dig that about that. So it's really telling of the time when this. Well, the interesting.
Oh, I think you're kind of cutting out a little bit.
Oh, hello.
Did we lose you? Oh boy.
Justin's going to say something important.
Okay.
I know.
So I can share my first two.
Please do.
My first two were Adventures of Superman number 453. This bad boy right here.
It's here.
Superman is in exile when he's left the planet because he's lost his mind. He's low on oxygen, and he starts hallucinating. He's seeing Gangbuster, Lex Luthor, I think, and General Zod. Just he's having to come to grips, like his trauma, just things that he's done, his different personalities, his villains, and he's just losing his mind. And the other one, I reread this, I flipping love this, was X-Men 166. It was the X-Men versus Brood. Yeah, I think it was Paul Smith.
That's a great one.
Yes, and just the fact that in this panel right here, what happened when Wolverine ripped off Cyclops' visor. I'll never forget that.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. That's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a double-sized issue. They're fighting the Brood. They're trying to survive. It's like their suicide run because they know they're probably not going to survive. And it was a great issue. I loved it. I love both of those. And I still love rereading those two issues.
What was the Superman one again?
It was, Adventures of Superman 453.
453.
453.
That monster said 4, 5.
Tree fitty.
Tree fitty. Yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, that's super rad. Roger Stern, Dan Jurgens. Woo.
Jerry
Jurgens.
Yeah, just Mike Carlin. The dream teams were working on Superman back in the day.
Look at this. Yeah, this is super cool.
It's crazy looking at this too, because in the terms of like using colors, they didn't have nearly as much to work with as they do now. Mm-hmm. But all of these panels are so much more dramatic and have so much more of a mood than what you get today. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Like it doesn't make sense.
Absolutely, man. And
because I think it helped that Jerry was a visual story. Jerry was an artist and he was writing them as well. So I think that really did help telling that story when he knew what he wanted to convey. Where I think Brian, he just wrote a script and had his artists do whatever. I probably never saw the art.
Now, do you guys remember what's the what's the Avengers book? It's a key. It's when Rogue takes Captain Marvel's powers.
Oh, that was
Isn't that
Avengers
what it is?
Annual number 6.
Yeah, somewhere.
I think
around
Avengers Annual 6.
Avengers Anal.
Yeah,
Avengers
Avengers
Annual.
Annual 6. Yeah,
Oh no, I don't want that.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Cool cover. No.
Avengers.
Is Yule in the chat? Yule should know. Yule. I think it was
I guess
Avengers
you would
Annual
do.
6.
What?
Yeah, it was 10. There you go. Thanks, Yule.
10? Okay, cool. Yule's the man. Thank you, Yule. The Avengers. I'm wondering if it'll come up as just the regular series or the regular title.
Yeah, if you go like 1963, whatever that run.
63 or maybe 73.
No, 63. It should be the 1963 Avengers run because it'll go off the original run.
Okay. Let's try that. Because I was looking at that recently. I was looking at that issue. And dude, Michael Golden is crushing it.
Prime time rock
Crushing.
star. Yeah.
Here we go. Where's the anals? Give me the anal. That'll get clipped. There we go. Number 10, baby. Let's see this bad boy.
There
Okay.
it is.
Look at dude, Josh, talk about color. And I mean, granted, this is probably digitally enhanced a little bit, but already that first page, you're like, let's go.
Got a jumper and like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And this is so this was a giant size, right? So this was king size, not just giant size, king size annual. And if you do the I'm pretty sure this was going, so 75 cents. I think if you do the inflation rate, this should have been like $2.50 or something. Like now. That's pretty pathetic that this was like 40 pages or something of this.
Worth every cent.
Yeah.
Worth every
Absolutely. You get some X-Men in here. There's a specific, oh my God, Captain America.
It's like I know people. Like, there are a lot of people, who love to champion his Micronaut stuff, but for me, it begins and ends here. And this annual is it's walking up to Apollo Creed in the ring and just pounding him right in the face. Tells you Michael Golden's here.
It's funny because I was literally just about to, like, as we were going through this, I was about to say, man, this is peak Marvel. And then I realized, oh, wait, if I were to say that. But it really does. I mean, like look at the detail in Pyro's flames. Like,
there's the old, Micronauts is killer. I know you'd say that.
Micronauts is killer. Like this
how
looks
dynamic and explosive every damn page is. Love it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just the visual storytelling is so good.
And not just every page, but every panel.
Yeah.
Like we're talking even just like, even when they're standing around, like the facial expressions, how they're standing, Blob is like this and Pyro's kind of like, they're all contemplating something different. They're not just static stand, digitally placed here. There's another one, Vision getting smacked. This is a great image of Hawkeye.
Yes,
I love that.
Cool. Nick Fury, love it.
Ooh, Iron Man,
I love how he draws Iron Man. I love it.
Yeah. And where he's kind of almost got like a tank top Iron Man suit where he like cuts off at the arms or shoulders.
I love
or
that.
whatever.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Scarlet Witch we got in here. Dude, you've got everyone. And then this is just insane.
Yeah, just looking at his art, it's like I see, when I'm seeing his art, it reminds me of Tim Vigil. Guys like him, just his style, the pencils, how he draws the faces. I see a lot of that detail, a lot of that in Tim Vigil.
So
this is where the story, if you read this now, this story, it's like, what the hell happened?
it's it's almost like it's really I don't want to say heartfelt, but it's really intense.
It's intense, and it's like what the effing F? Just
yes.
this seriously happened?
it's creepy because she's almost essentially like, graped and has this kid.
Who is the guy who raped her?
Yeah. Yeah, there I was, pregnant by an unknown source, running through a 9-month term, literally overnight, confused, terrified, shaken to the core of my being, as a hero, as a person, as a woman. I turned to you for help, and I got jokes. The wasp thought I was great, and the beast offered to play teddy bear. Your concerns were for the baby, not for how it came to be, nor of the cost to me of that conception. Like, this is heavy dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, I have never heard something that deeply emotional and heartbreaking. And
I think this was Claremont. I think
it was Claremont.
Yeah.
And that's why it's got like 4 different bubbles on it. It's very, very dialogue heavy. However, each word means something.
It packs a punch.
Yes,
It's not just talking for the sake of talking. Yeah.
Correct.
She is, every word of hers has some sort of meaning to her, and she is trying to convey that as best she can to the Avengers. And even like you said, Josh, this is visual storytelling. Like, you can see the Avengers here. They've kind of all got this lowered head because they're realizing how difficult this was for her. We would never see this ever in a modern book. Go ahead.
Well, and also what I was going to say too, if you have this written in a modern book, your full 20 pages would be that one panel.
Yeah, that's true, huh?
But it would be, it would just it's fluff.
It would have been fluff. It would have taken 30 issues just to get to this point. All the stuff that we just saw would have been filler. She goes, after a trauma like mine, it's easy to wallow in bitterness and self-pity, but both grief and guilt have to be faced, dealt with, exercised. So even she's recognizing, I could sit here and wallow in misery and think about my brokenness and my pain and my trauma.
And show off her comic book collection. Yeah.
Say again?
And show off her comic book collection.
Show off her very first comic book, right. But instead, she later says, she says something, what is also human is the ability to learn from those mistakes, to grow, to mature. And she talks about heroes and how heroes are this kind of symbol of hope, this greater than thing. It's not just who we are. It's an ideal to live up to. It's like, God damn, dude, this is fantastic. Like, really, really well done. So I just wanted to bring that up because our first,
I just love going through this comic, and any chance going back to these pages is a treat, and I love it. So,
well, it was written by a white male, so go to hell.
Nice. He was also straight. He was also straight, Kyle. So
that too.
Yep. But yeah, no,
I love covers. Like, I know they're not popular anymore, and people really don't like them, but I love stuff like this on the covers. To tell you the stuff that happened in the book.
Yeah, you want to win a Columbia 10-speed racer?
Who wouldn't?
I'm still trying.
Yeah, come on. Hey, I'm still trying to get jacked like the guys that are in the ads for all those protein workout things. So yeah, no, I just thought that would be fun to go down memory lane and also kind of share some of our first books, because I do think that a first book has meaning. I think it has significance. I think it has importance, but I think we can also recognize that there's some that it's like, maybe it doesn't have great art, or maybe it doesn't have good storytelling, but we can recognize that. Whereas like this has both art and storytelling, and it should be praised. It should be something that we look back to and go, how can we bring this back into the fold? Let's see. I saw he's working on Rambo, and Nolan is doing Joe Frankenstein. Oh yeah, a lot of those guys.
Yeah, they've been talking about Chuck in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I haven't gotten a chance to check out chat. So hopefully you guys are still doing well. You should check out his Bucky O'Hare.
Oh okay. Yeah. He did that for Neil Adams at Continuity Comics. Yeah, good art in that.
Nice.
It's a fun cartoon.
That was quite a statement. Yeah, and clipped. Thanks. So with that being said, after going through some of those topics, let's get to our main event of the evening, which is essentially, I know, right? It's like, okay, let's go. I want to get y'all's take on. So first, let me preface. When I say the comic book industry, I want to make sure that I preface and say that we're not describing the accessibility of comics, because the comic cartoonist kayfabe guys put out a video basically saying like, this is the golden age of comics, and you can get comics like anywhere. You can get manga here, you could get 70s stuff here, you could get underground stuff here, which is
obtainability is true. Yeah, sure.
Right. So and the attainability, yes, is true. I mean, you could get omnibus, you could get single issues, you could get trade paperbacks. Like everything is available to you on Amazon or eBay. Like you can always find something, and so, or even digitally. So the accessibility is there, but the industry itself, the single issue floppy comic, is, in my opinion, unhealthy, and I think that it's failing. We got articles like the ICV2 article that says superhero comics are in a creative rut. Who, if anyone, will fly to the rescue? Where they discuss like supply and demand mismatch, stale creative process, media saturation, all these different topics. But what do you guys think? Was there one thing that kicked this all off? Was there one moment in time, or was it a gradual collapse, or was it a gradual thing of something within the industry that we saw that kind of got us to where we are now, which is a more unhealthy state in the industry?
I've got one thing, something, but if anyone else wants to go first, I got one thing. But Josh, Kyle, you guys want to go first?
You go ahead.
I'll just say, individuals with the company, like whether it's DC or Marvel, letting in their friends to work, who then let in their friends, and they let in their friends. And each one is progressively worse than the prior one creatively. And at the Comics Pro Retailer Summit this past weekend, Sean, who owns Comics Elite, heard this firsthand from a creator at the Big Two. Not going to say who. They had this conversation for hours, and this is exactly what happened. People, and before you knew it, you had an echo chamber, and no one in charge gave a shit about it. So there's really a lack of diversity of thought. You just have a hive mind. Case in point, the X Office. So that's my one thing.
I wonder. I would pay good money to look at their Slack conversations to see the degeneracy of what is going on in those meetings, right? But no, that's a great point, brother. And that's something I don't even think about, is how open the door was to people who had never read comics, didn't even like comics, considered it a joke, or considered that it was inherently
something else, using it as stepping stone, TV or whatever.
Absolutely. So that's a great point. When do you think that happened, though? When do you think that was like what year? Do you think like 2014s ish was like?
I would say when Bendis really started working at Marvel, and he brought in Matt Fraction, Kelly Sue DeConnick, and the whole Portland Mafia in with him. That's when it kind of I don't know another term for it, the Portland Mafia, because they all there. So I think that's really when it all really started.
Okay. Kyle, not Kevin.
No, I would say that's about right. And it's that letting the fox into the hen house. It's you let one person in, and it's a market where you're very reactive and not very proactive like Hollywood is. It's very reactive. So it's like we're seeing this change going on in the world, and then they're feeling like we don't want to be left behind. We want to get ahead of it. We want to be social justice too. We think we're doing the right thing, and that road to hell is paved with good intentions. And it's like, we're doing the right thing, right? We're letting all these people in, and we're going to try to do good. And it's like, and by then it's a cancer and you can't get it out. And it's like, oh shit. And then what do? We double down. And it's like, don't worry, it'll get better. It'll get better. And by then it's too late. And that's kind of where we're at now.
Well, that's what's, that's what I find is so interesting is that like the movies that we're seeing coming out now, and we talked about this earlier in the stream about Dungeons and Dragons and how it's fun for them to emasculate their lead heroes, their lead protagonist males. That's just like something that's fun for them to do. These movies have been in production for years. So the movies that we're currently seeing were made or probably scripted and given the green light years ago when all of that stuff was like cool, and now they're seeing like, oh, this doesn't bring in any money. And I like what you said, where it's like the road to success is paved with good intentions or something like that, where, I think a lot of people probably thought that this is the new cool thing. And now they're looking at the trend and they're like, we're in debt. We're not making any money. We're losing fans. And we have to do something quick about it. So, yeah. Josh.
Yes.
What do you think?
Look, I think there's so many symptoms to the problem. I would say one of the biggest things hurting the industry today, I mean, what they said is 100% correct. But I think one of the other biggest things is they completely undermined the idea of the comics industry and sales when you start relaunching books and relaunching books and relaunching books and relaunching books, because all you're telling your audience is what they're reading doesn't matter. It matters now, but a year from now, 6 months from now, it's not going to matter anymore. And the moment you take that away, you give people no urgency to read comics. Comics are an investment, whether you're doing it for collecting or not. You're asking your people. So even if you don't want to collect comics for the sake of collecting them, when you're releasing 20 to 30 pages a month and asking people to come back month after month after month, you are asking for an investment, and they have completely wiped that model out. It does not exist anymore. It's a miracle if you can get a book that can get to 50 issues at this point. It just doesn't happen. And because of that, every time you get to a point where you relaunch, where they think they're picking up new members, they're giving people an exit strategy. Like, here's a jumping off point. There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah. It really has devalued, like you said, the significance of a book. And we've seen really great events like Batman Housh was in the middle. It was like, in the middle of the Batman series. It wasn't a number one issue. It was like some random. Yeah, exactly. So they really have kind of restarted, it's the whole revamp, restart, refurbish, reimagine, anything that has that
retool.
Anything that has that prefix is just like it's destined for failure.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it devalues the book itself and the reading experience, because why pick up a book when I know it's going to be a 4-issue miniseries and I can wait till the trade comes out a month later that's going to be cheaper and it's going to have all the books in there already? Like, what's the purpose of me picking up a book every month? So I think that's a great point. Do you guys think that any of this happened like specifically at a point in time, or was this a gradual thing? I think you guys were saying earlier how the Brian Michael Bendis Portland Mafia thing kind of happened over time. But do you think there was a decision made in the editorial or even higher, Josh, that like someone was like, this is how we're going to market comic books now? Or was that a gradual process as well?
Well, I think the problem here is you have people like Bendis that came in and they started overruling editorial. They started making these decisions. They started making these calls because they were kind of like the power names. Scott Snyder, to a degree, came and Scott Snyder wasn't nearly as bad as Bendis in this. And Scott Snyder, for the most part, is a good team player. But he would come in and kind of make overruling decisions as well. So you have these people coming in deciding how Tom King, how things are going to be done, which artists are going to be on it, how it's going to be released, and then you have people that are in positions for a reason because they've got that business mindset. They understand the long-term goal, not the short-term goal. Because when you had good editors, you understood that they understood, I've got a writer or artist coming in to play in the sandbox with these toys, and they're going to be here for a little while, and hopefully they do great things. And then I need to keep this sandbox and these toys good for who comes after them. But your writers these days are all about what can I do? What can I provide? How can I change this? How can I make this mine? And they don't care about the sandbox. They don't care about the toys. They just do whatever the fuck they want. And then they say, cool, I'm good. And they pass it off. And now you've got, you know, a sandbox that a bunch of 3-year-olds have pissed in and a bunch of toys that are missing some arms and heads and legs. And, you know, like this is what we're left with. No one wants to play in that sandbox and nobody wants to play with these toys because they're broken. So it's gradual, unfortunately. It's just, and the editors that had the clout and the understanding of how to, you know, protect and safeguard these things, they're gone. Like they got so undermined and their pace got cut so much, they left. Even some of your, like, Peter J. Tomasi, like we talk about him all the time. He's a solid writer. We talk about how he'd be a great editor. He was asked to be an editor multiple times, and he chose not to be because he was making more money as a writer. Would he now? No, probably not. But you know, I mean it's a shame. Like they started. I feel like the comics industry didn't look at the worth of the people that they were hiring, and once they stopped looking at the worth of those people, you started seeing the degradation of the industry itself.
Real quick, we have a question from Harley. He says, I actually have a contextual question. Do collectors look at vendors printers that are producing the books? Because there's some damn shitty prints of amazing artwork. I'm not sure. I mean, I know that the most recent Fantastic Four book that came out by Alex Ross was not produced or published by Marvel, right? That was something completely different, and it looks beautiful and feels beautiful. Fantastic, like gloss paper. I think it was a hardcover. So yeah, I mean, and if it were probably from Marvel, it'd probably look a lot different. I don't know if people or collectors in general look at that specifically when they're buying a book. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Everything right now is how cheaply can we make it to make a profit on it. I mean, right now they are so concerned with margin, and they're concerned with margin and they're concerned with comping. So if anyone doesn't have business background, comping is just trying to beat your last year numbers. That is all they're trying to do. And editors have openly discussed, they come into deciding what they're going to have written or published or produced to try to comp what came the year before. And it's like, you're shooting for the lowest bar and you're shooting to accomplish something for the wrong reasons. I mean, yes, it's business. You have to have sales. You need sales. But the moment you're like, you know what, we're 2 books short this month. We're going to create this annual and make this tie-in. You're just shooting yourself in the foot because no one wants it. No one's asking for it.
Yeah. I see that a lot nowadays where it's like, nobody asked for this. Same thing with movies too. It's like, no one is asking for this.
Yeah.
And it feels frustrating because it feels like a lot of our channels are just kind of shouting into this void. And yet, you know, video trailers continue to get downvoted. Comic books continue to have low sales. The audience, the critics, the fans continually voice their opinion about this stuff saying, we don't want this. And yet editors keep thinking and you know, higher ups keep thinking, no, you do want this, but even more importantly, you need this because we know what's right for you, you know, and that's kind of the
one trailer I saw that I don't want is so look, I'm a big David Cronenberg fan, and I saw they're doing a remake of Dead Ringers, with Rachel Weisz as the twins. The original is David Cronenberg directed it with Jeremy Irons playing twin gynecologist brothers. And loosely based on a true story. But it's like with this, it's like no Cronenberg directing it and Rachel Weisz, but it kind of takes I didn't want this. No.
Same thing with a lot of books that I feel like you guys read every week. I'll watch your videos and, you know, the cover, like for that Midnight Suns thing a couple months back, where it was like, you know, hey, we're thinking Midnight Suns, we're thinking Wolverine, Ghost Rider, and Blade, and then you open it and it's like a melodramatic high school, you know, play, and you're like, this is not what I asked for.
And then what did we do? We cracked open a '90s Rise of the Midnight Suns or whatever, and
that we did.
Awesome that was. Yeah.
And we looked through that the entire rest of the stream because we were like, this is fucking awesome.
We were planning on this, but yeah, this is just too much fun to put down.
Yeah.
It just goes
Raylos,
back to it's very reactive. And
Yeah.
they're going to come out years later and be like, all of this was wrong. We're going to go back and make it right. And we're going to change it and make it better. And we're going to be like, yeah, we've been saying this for years. And they're going to be like, we're the first ones to come up with this. Isn't this great? We got this new idea. And all the shills are going to be like, that's so great. It's like, well, yeah, we were saying that like 5 years ago.
Well, there are two things there. I think one is that if they do say that, they'll differentiate it because they'll say that the way that we were saying it was bigoted, or the way that we were saying it was racist or something, or it had bad intentions. But the way that they're saying it has good intentions, or it has like a different context. The other thing is they may not do that at all, because the thing is, because of all the retcons and because of all the character changes and all that, if they go back on any of that, they are going to get massive backlash from the Twitter mob. And so can they, will they ever retcon Tim Drake or John Kent being bisexual? They can't. How can they? If they did,
if society retcons itself and swings the other way, and everyone is thinking the other way, then they will retcon everything and be like, oh, that's what society wants now. And everyone's on our side now.
Down with the gays.
Yeah!
Get those gays out of our comic book.
Took her chips.
Yeah.
Like, you can get out.
You can get out. But no, I mean, I would I think we're already starting to kind of see a little bit of that, where people are saying like, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we had some actual representation, some really great characters like Midnighter and Apollo, and we're looking around like, is this bitch serious? We've been saying this for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
And you think you're new to the party?
Yeah, or when I was talking earlier, this DC Connect talking about the stuff coming out in May. They've got this brand new Stunning and Brave Asian character who can talk to cities, that City Boy. And I'm like, wait a second. This is Jack Hawksmoor. What? You just ripped off your own character. Why would you do this?
You know what I just realized is the South Park episode where they're trying to say City Walk, but they're saying Shitty Walk.
Shitty Walk, yeah.
If the book is bad, he'll be called Shitty Boy. Shitty Boy. Welcome to Shitty Walk. Would you like some shitty chicken? Raylo says these writers need therapy and let their baggage go. That's deep-seated shit that they get off on trolling the audience.
Yeah,
Josh.
Yeah,
go
I just, we were talking earlier about how these older comics, stuff going back, it's pretty much mid-late 70s through the 80s, and kind of lost its way in the 90s and circled back in the early to mid 2000s of touching on these really deep, complex characters and stories. And they did such a good job at it, and so much better than what we're doing today or getting today. And you've got these writers coming in who haven't read comics, have no idea these stories exist. And they're so proud of themselves, and they're all stroking each other off about how amazing they are. And they're delivering something that's just 100th of the quality of what came before, but they think they're reshaping the world, and they're not. And it's just and when you have someone that's so full of themselves, you can't legitimately tell them how bad they are. They're not going to listen to it. They're going to think there's something wrong with you. You're the person that doesn't understand. You don't get it. And I'm just like, all right, and then on top of it too, we talked about structure, whether it's in art or writing. You have story structure, you have techniques that are there for a reason. And yes, some of these technical aspects might be boring, but they're there for a reason. It's to help your story, to help your pacing, to help kind of create some foreshadowing without being blatantly obvious. They don't follow any of these rules. They don't care. They don't need to. They've got a story, and my story is about a transgender person of color that's disabled. And because of that, it is amazing, beautiful, and brave. So buy it.
And
bitches.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Finger snaps. I don't want
No.
Oh,
You gotta do this. Yeah.
ASL. Come on now.
Yeah. No, and the other thing too is you can't criticize that, Josh, because if you do, then you are part of that other,
Of course.
the alt-right mob, and that's why they kind of utilize that as is this protective shield, because if you do try and criticize that, then you're like I said, you're part of the bad guys. But
I believe
before yeah, go
I
ahead.
believe earlier you said racist and bigoted, and I just want to
Mhm.
say I'm happy to be your homophobic shield. So
Oh.
you're welcome. You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
There's a reason why we invite you on these. No, I'm kidding.
It's not because you provide quality content. Your plot armor.
You're playing. No, you have saved my stream. What's up?
You guys are like Snowflake and Safe Space. I love it.
We are, yeah. We just feed off of each other. It's like
That's right.
nothing's wrong, everything's perfect. And it's just like the best ever. It's peak Marvel. It's peak, yeah, YouTube. I do like what you said as well, which is like this interesting dynamic about writers and creators that think that they are so much higher and mightier, and that they have this thing that like their story is the right way to tell it, and if you don't listen, then you must be wrong. But their whole thing is this mindset of openness and inclusivity, and so it's almost ironic to a point where like they're so narrow-minded where only this view is accepted, that there's no room for anything else. So I think there's some irony there, and I think that was interesting that you mentioned that. But I think I agree with all of y'all's sentiment, and I think that this plays on art imitating life, art imitating culture, and that is where, at least for me, that's where I saw the shift. Is like once the culture really started to change, you really began to see the change in comic books, and that's probably what opened up the gate to all the different, mafias and stuff. It's also what Josh, what you were saying about having this new structure of these comic books. It was all changing with the culture. So I think it's really interesting that if we are going to see any type of change within comic books, I think it will need to happen first within our environment, within our society, within our culture, within our personal lives and whatnot. So I don't know. I don't see comics doing that prior to life. Like I said, it's like life imitates art, or art imitates life, or whatever that saying is. So yeah, that's it. You go, Frosk.
I just realized this. So I'm gonna bring it up. Sean was at, like I said, the Comics Pro meetup, and he talked to CB Cebulski for a long time, like a very long time, I guess. So this is not pushing clout, but Comicslate is well known with the publishers, with the other publishers, with writers, and CB Cebulski was well aware of Comicslate for good or bad. And CB was telling Sean that it could have been a hell of a lot worse if he was not there. He was telling him what would have happened. And
that's a scary notion to think about as well, right?
Yeah,
they're like this could have been even like what would that even look like? Because we're trying to like we're now in like kind of panic mode. Well, a lot of industries publishers are in panic mode right now, because they're like, we don't have sales that are doing well. We don't have the audience that we're looking to get, which is this like 15 to 25 audience, this like younger Gen Z audience. They're like, we don't have this, we don't have that, we're not seeing this, we're getting, we're kind of in a rut here. And yet to think that it could have been worse, it's wild. And that it probably might even still get worse before it gets better. This may not even be the tip of the iceberg.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yep.
As
exactly.
Harvey Dent told us. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
I'm gonna say.
Go ahead.
So, JK just put a comment in there because when we're talking about people kind of catching on to what people are asking for, what people want. But I'm not sure as we enter a recession and Disney is facing steep losses. I think there may be more of a focus on sales, which would require better quality. 100%. I think there's some truth here. I think the only problem is you have a lot of people in leadership that don't understand what's actually creating sales and, you know, creating a spark in people to want to buy something. Because we've had instances of books coming out and doing really, really well. You know, when Jeff Johns' 3 Jokers came out, it sold incredibly well. And the industry was shocked. And it's like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, how do we do this again? And they haven't really done it again. So they have no clue how to do
off his ass to do something.
Yeah, Jason Faylock, yeah, besides a cover every about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I was with Gary last weekend, and I was showing him some of the pictures that you guys had sent me. Of like Jason Faylock stuff, and he looked at it and he goes, "Is that Jim Lee?" And I go, "No, this is like the fucking new Jim Lee, dude. Like this is Jason Faylock." And he's like, "Oh my God, that's right." And he's like, "Damn, he's getting good." And it just shows like, get Jason Faylock on these books, man. Like he should be your guy right now.
Yes.
They don't want to pay him. Like,
they don't. Case in point, they don't want to pay him.
No.
Yeah.
But, and it also kind of goes back to the start of like what we're talking about. Do they even have the capital to pay him? Do they even have the finances or the money to pay him? And
if so, take what he says with a grain of salt. You know, is do your own research. But Ethan Van Sciver, when he talks about how they've cut back on residuals heavily for a lot of these creators now, and but he was talking about how back in the day he was making what $40,000 on a comic between the cover and the interior pages, just doing a comic. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Done. And to add to your point, Josh, and JK's point, leadership doesn't know where money is actually coming from or where these sales are coming from, because mama and or big daddy, you know, I almost said Zaxx, Papa Zaxx. But
Daddy Zaxx.
Daddy Zaxx. Yeah. But like Big Daddy Disney and Big Daddy WB, those are the ones just shoveling money into these, like, yeah, just do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. Your comics, you make how much money a year? I don't give 2 shits about you. Just it's like this really rich, arrogant dad who has a son, and the son's a trust fund kid, and the dad's always off on these sex romps to like Malibu or something, and he's just like, oh, you're gonna be alone at home, kid. I don't care what you do. Here's like $10,000. Just do whatever you want. And the kid's going to go wild with that type of money. But the dad doesn't actually really care about this trust fund kid. So I think that's what we're seeing with these big corporations just funneling money into these comic publishers.
Yep. And pushing an agenda. He is a white male. It's like, no, we need more diversity. We can't pay this guy all this money. It's like, let's prop up somebody else who sucks and say that they're good. Because we're being great.
Perch has talked about this, and he's referenced it more so with Marvel and Disney as opposed to Warner and DC. But Disney legitimately has an outlook on Marvel Comics as not that it's necessarily a product that people desire, but that it is just simply marketing. Like that's how they view it. Yeah. And you know, it's a shame because I think comics could be so much more than that. But it's also reality. Like at the end of the day, comics brings in such a just minute amount of money compared to what Disney is getting elsewhere. Why wouldn't they look at it as anything other than marketing? But they're looking at it to this degree that they're considering moving comics creation and publication into the marketing department. Like,
oh my Lord.
And this is coming from Disney insiders.
Yeah.
But those teams are doing better jobs with the work they're putting out anyways. I'm kind of like, dude, do it. Like, well, you'll probably get something better.
Maybe. And marketing is based heavily on analytics and data that they've found. And when you're in a marketing department, your whole pitch is just like, okay, in this region, this is the type of spending habits and like costs that we see with this type of demographic. So maybe there would be a more statistical, outlook on things instead of more of an emotional outlook on things. So that might be a better thing. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it is odd to think that this is their marketing ploy or their marketing technique, And yet every time a movie comes out, it feels like that character is either dead, race swapped, or gender's changed or something. Like every time the comic book is there and the movie's there, it like never matches up.
And honestly, that's probably why you will eventually see Marvel Comics shift under Disney's marketing department.
That's shitty. Well,
but you know what? The
right
marketing
now,
team's
yeah,
going to be smart enough to go, oh, you've got a Doctor Strange movie coming out. Let's make sure we've got Doctor Strange in a book. Oh, people are going to be looking for this. Hey, who's some of your top talent? Donny Cates gets a lot of sales. Hey, throw him on here. Do you have an artist that's good? Oh, okay, yeah, Mark Bagley. Yeah, throw him on there. Great.
Yeah.
Like they're going to have enough of a business mindset to actually say and do that. Meanwhile, we got the people running Marvel and DC that they can't even tell you how many units they're selling of these books, much less whether they're turning a profit on these books. They're not for like 50% of them. So, I mean,
get out of town.
Yeah. What?
Yeah, no.
Misinformation.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah, there's going to be a thing on my YouTube video at the very bottom that says like, please check CBR in order to find the true, statistics of comic book reports or something.
Go to the comment. You just get the
yeah. That's like Perch had a video a couple weeks back where he was like trolling and he was like, global warming is as bad as comic books or something. And there was a literal warning on the bottom of his video that was like, please consult the national blah, 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 blah. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, YouTube? He's doing a joke global warming title and it was YouTube fact checked his troll. So I guess that brings up us to like kind of how we go into that is in how we go into like fixing a lot of this stuff. Is it looking at putting comics into a market into the marketing department? I think that could be maybe a short-term fix, but long-term, no, comics need to be their own industry. I don't want them to be enveloped by a different section of the organization. I want them to still have their own publishing. But yeah, I don't know where we go from here. And like I said, I wonder if it's going to be a product of the culture within society to where then comics will change. Not just like the storytelling but and the art or whatnot, because you could say that there are a couple things wrong, whether it's like identity politics or whether it's just marketing and businesses not knowing what to do. Because you'll hear Perch saying it's poor business decisions, but then you'll hear Gary say, well, it's more so the wokeness and identity politics. So you have a couple different people saying different things, but I think it's a mixture of all of that. I don't think there's like one thing you could pinpoint. Go ahead.
The only thing I'm going to say is this whole like conversation of wokeness and identity politics. If you have someone at the top that is running a business properly, they're going to nip that in the bud. And I'm not saying that they're going to just completely exclude it. They're going to know that, okay, there is a market for this, but it is a smaller market. And yes, while we need to appease it, it shouldn't be our main focus. So if you got someone that actually knew how to run a fucking business, you would still get these things, but you would have so much more going on that would actually reach the masses of what the masses want to read. Your sales would increase. We don't have business people. We were saying something earlier, and there was a thought that came through my mind of like, if we could go back to like 2018, 2019, knowing where the comics industry is now, when everyone's screaming for Dan DiDio to get fired, I'm sure we'd be like, no,
leave him there.
Because as much as people hated some of the ideas he did, he wasn't afraid to say no to things. And we don't have anyone saying no. Everyone's like, oh yeah, that's great. That's great.
And at least he was the figure. Like if there was any complaints, whatever, he was the guy you could aim at. He took the bullets.
Yeah.
DC, who the hell is that guy? It's not Jim Lee. I know that.
Nope.
So
it's no one. Yeah. Really?
Yeah. If I could come in, so if I got brought into DC Comics or Marvel Comics today, I would, whoever my head publisher was, whoever that is, it's going to be someone with a business background. Like I want someone that's run a company before, that's a CEO that understands business. They understand that their job is to make money. And I'm also going to understand that this person is not the right creative person to handle DC Comics or Marvel Comics. So I'm going to hire an editor and a creative director that are people that have a long history in comic books, that understand the broadness of storytelling, and get them in these roles so they can make decisions that are based on story or who they're going to hire to write these books. Make sure we're going to get some dark and gritty books for this audience. Just get some traditional superhero books for this audience. Here's our like capsule of bold, brave, and beautiful beings books. You know, like you can cover the gamut, but they're not doing that.
That I like that a lot, because it starts with a business or mindset, a business oriented individual who is going to take who's not going to take shit from anybody, and who doesn't necessarily need to have a creative mindset, because he or she just needs to focus solely on hiring the right people that can do that for him or her. So if it is, someone who has been like, I don't know, working at Pimco or something, and then they come into comic books, they may not know how to do any of this creative-minded stuff. So they're going to look at those individuals that can do that for them. Now, the only question is, would they have and it always comes back to money. Would they have the capital to even hire? Because I would love to have Ann Nesenti come back and edit. I've been reading some of the older 1980s stuff, and she was editing a lot of those books, and I really enjoyed what she was doing while she was editing. Would she even want to come back? Is there a price enough that? Say again?
I say probably not. I mean, unless they're going to pay her enough just to, she's doing a few stories here and there, but she's not doing a lot. So it probably does come down to pay, and maybe she's pitching stories that they don't want to publish.
And yeah, so I think that would kind of be my look into this, is like, even if we did get someone who would be able to hire the right people, would the right people even want to work as editors? Because they would have a lot to be fixing. They would have either a lot of stuff that would be, I mean, they would have to be working 24/7 to retcon a lot of this stuff. They would have to find ways of being able to fix some of these storylines while also not being seen as like these hateful, bigoted, which, granted, you could say that's only a small portion of the population that is calling these creators out for being hateful or whatever. But I mean, if they want to go back to classic characters, if that's what they think is going to sell, then they might have to retcon some of these different gender, sexuality, and like race swaps. But that would have to be up to them, and if they really want to take that on. And I don't know if a lot of creators or editors or whatnot even want to do that. They might just be like,
they just want that paycheck. Here.
Or maybe, yeah.
You mentioned, do they have the capital? And honestly, every time someone mentions would they have the capital to pay for top talent, if you aren't publishing 80-something books a month, yeah, guess what? You have the capital to get top talent. When you're publishing 80-something books a month and you're not making a profit on 50% of that, no, you can't afford the capital because you're spending it in stupid places. When the New 52 was coming out and DC said, hey, we're going to have 52 books that we release in a month, the general consensus within the industry is that's crazy and it's not sustainable. And we're getting to the point where we're almost doubling that, so it's just like the blind leading the blind, and you're too stupid to see that you're, tripping over dollars to pick up pennies.
I like that. Tripping over dollars to pick up pennies. There was another comment in here. I think Harley Dave had alluded to it, which is essentially, was it that, or was it? It says this woke nonsense is coming from the top down, so I really don't know how to fix this. I think that was the one that I was looking at, because I wonder if it is from now. Because is it poor leadership, or is it poor leadership? Poor leadership mixed with
it's
the kind of identity.
Leaders who cannot herd the cats. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
They're just kind of just letting the inmates run the asylum. They're quote unquote doing what they can, but are you really trying, to rein them in? Are you really? I think there's a lack of poor management from the leadership.
I mean, hell, look at DC. One of your top editors is Chris Conroy. Like, that's a whole basket of crazy in and of itself. Just
do not go check
his Twitter. Like,
I was about to say, do not go check his Twitter feed. It's wild, wild. Yeah. So I think that there is something to say about. I think it was Aaron in the chat who said basically, I don't know how to fix this, regardless of whether it's identity politics or it's more of a business sense. I don't think any of us will. I think a lot of us can have a lot of really great ideas and how we would approach this, but I think ultimately, like, it's tough because as much as we talk about it, it feels like these creators and these individuals who are running the circus, or like you said, kind of running the asylum or whatever, they will never listen to us, nor will they ever. They won't listen, and even if they do listen to us, they won't hear what we're actually saying. And I think that is where it's going to be really destructive, because there won't be change if there is no listening or no commonality between people to where we can listen to each other and say, you know what, that actually makes a good point, or that's a great idea. We'll never really see that come to fruition. So it's like you said, it gets darkest before the dawn or whatever. We may see this get worse before it gets better. Who knows?
Yeah. Your Chief Wiggum with his tie caught in the rotisserie wheel with just crawling in. It's only going to get worse before it gets better. All right.
The Inmates Are Running the Asylum is the best product management book you can ever read. Oh, thank you. I'll have to check that out now. Artists aren't exactly known as business people. JK says, I think they could just split their lines, offer new line and classic line. Well, that kind of goes with Joshua.
I think it kind of that maybe what Marvel may be trying to do with this bringing back Hickman and Brian Hitch and the ultimate line.
Ultimate, yeah.
They could be trying something like that, putting Miles and everyone else back over there in the Ultimate Universe. That way you got the Ultimate line, you got the regular Marvel line. You just do whatever you want over here, do what you want with traditional continuity over here. Just a theory, but
yeah,
see what happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you are doing 80 comics a month, and sometimes depending on what week it is, I think your boy Zach counted 120 plus comics altogether, and that wasn't with variant covers.
No variants, yeah.
And that was just for 1 week of all the publishers. Like, there is so much money that is being put into things. Like, we're going to see these books. We thought back issue bins were big now of like 25-cent, 90s books. Holy shit, are we going to see an abundance? I mean, talk about those Funko Pops that we were mentioning earlier. Like, we are going to need a landfill the size of like a small...
They're filled with all the Jim Shooter Dark Plasm books from the 90s. It's going to be that landfill.
Yeah, man. I mean, I can't imagine seeing these books going anywhere other than... This is just such an odd era to when you read these stories and you look at the artwork and you go like, man, I cannot believe that this was a decision that was made and that we're getting 80 of these every single month. It's very odd.
Yeah, we're going to get Scout, AWA, whatnot. All of those are going to be filled in there because it's just how can Scout put out like 5 or 6 books a week? It's like,
it's wild. My
Lord, and all of them suck. Occasionally you make it one or two that are good.
Not all of them.
90% of them suck.
Beanie Babies, Pogs, and Funko Pop Island. That's hilarious.
I love
all
Pogs.
the dead
Pogs
franchises.
Yeah. I think I got another slammer somewhere.
Yeah. Would Garbage Pail Kids be put in that pile too? Would you throw those in there?
They're making a comeback. They're big with Dynamite right now. It's Garbage Pail Kids versus Mad Balls.
Mad Balls, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We're not reading it. But,
those 3 people like it.
Yeah.
Harley says, do you think there's a market for something like a work share umbrella corporation for independent creators with talent, support, tech supply chain?
I mean, isn't
Go
that
ahead.
kind of essentially what Image started out as?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're pretty much going to Image saying like, "Hey, I've got this idea," and Image is pretty much saying like, "Cool, we'll give you the means to produce your book. Here's paycheck." So I think that's probably the closest we've got to it. You might end up seeing some type of online thing that kind of goes a little bit more in that direction, but I mean that's essentially what Image was and is to a degree.
And man, that would be. I think Bad Idea tried to do something like that and have just failed. In my opinion, they've just failed massively because it's a bunch of these like. Because it is a bad idea.
They were at the retailer summit. They were pushing their stuff there. So
of course they were. They have the fucking worst ideas for marketing ploys, and that's all it is. It's just gimmicks. It's dumb. Buy this donut, and you'll get a free comic book that no one else will have. And it's like, this is exclusive, and I'm going to grade it, and it's going to be one of a kind. It's like, it's so, and their stories are just shit now. They used to have like really good Robert Venditti stuff, but
Tankers was great.
Tankers was
Monster
cool.
Kill Squad.
Yeah.
Excellent.
ENIAC was fun.
ENIAC was that was
wild
out there, but yeah.
I was gonna say I actually liked ENIAC. Yeah.
Zaxx has that's exactly where I was gonna go. Do you guys think going digital was the nail in the coffin? No, I think not going into digital to a stronger degree is honestly what hurt them. Because everyone kind of like fiddle farted around and didn't take advantage of it, and then you let Comixology become your main source of digital instead of either Marvel or DC trying to take the reins with their own books to do something.
And I will say, a retailer standpoint, I was at the Diamond Summit, and retailers, they were pissed at Comixology and everyone else, like how a lot of the books were going out digitally first before they were going to the shops. And a lot of the retailers, they were pushing back hard on the digital comics because of that. And CB is trying to do damage control up there. I'm like, hey, we're doing what we can. All right. We're doing what we can to stop this. All right. But the retailers are going to be that wall right there, keeping the digital from having a strong grasp, I think.
Yeah, I think the answer to that too, though, is almost to try to find, if I were DC Comics and I saw that, look, it's inevitable that digital is going to be the future. Like it in multiple, not just comics, but in multiple things. So if I'm DC Comics and I'm seeing that digital is the future, and I'm wanting to try to find a way to support my local comic shops and not completely just run them over because it's like, oh, this is easier to access, whatever. I would come up with a digital platform, but I would find a way, because it's barely costing me anything to get these digital books out there. I would come up with a way that you can subscribe to a book through our platform while supporting your local comic shop. So it's like, my local comic shop is called Ground Zero. I want to support Ground Zero. I'm going to create a subscription base through this digital platform, and I want to make sure that this goes through a degree Ground Zero. So Ground Zero gets a 20% cut or whatever. So at least they're getting something out of it as opposed to just, whatever it might be.
I was going to say,
also, if I were
Oh,
comic shops, I would have like a renting readings area if you've got a big enough shop, which I know in cities you don't, but have like one copy of an issue that you don't mind people just flipping through, and for $20 a month, $30 a month, whatever, you can go through and flip through and read the books without necessarily having to buy them.
That would be kind of cool. Like have there would almost be like a little coffee shop area where there'd be like chairs and sofas, and maybe there's like there's a couple tables, or like almost like a little library reading area, like you said, and you've just got short boxes full of like different books, different genres, and you can look through and see which ones you haven't read, or like that would be kind of cool. I'd pay for that.
So Max, real quick, a little segue, that comment you highlighted about the Hello Blockbuster, a little historical historical fun fact. Back in 2000, Blockbuster worked with Enron, partnered to do a video on demand service, and it didn't work. The idea was way ahead of its time. They tried with technology, they couldn't do it. So they did try. They were too soon.
Interesting. And that's such a well, because you look, one of the things we always talk about, like within our lectures, is like look at Blockbuster, look at Kodak, like who gets film processed anymore. You know what I mean? Like everything has gone digital. I think the thing with digital is that they have to. It's so tough because you don't want to kill the retailer, but you also want to offer digital to people who don't have that opportunity. But are you offering digital to people who have that type of money that can pay for both maybe a floppy and the digital? And if that's the case, you would have to offer the digital at such a low price. So maybe you could like subscribe through the retailer, like you were saying, Josh, but then get a discount on the books that you have because you have a subscription with them. And so you'd be going through that retailer shop's website instead of Comixology or instead of something else. I don't know, but Harley says adapt or die.
Yeah, I mean, I always ask the crowdfunding guys, like, do you think crowdfunding is the future? And it's like, I think you can adapt it to where maybe, I don't know if it's sustainable to take over everything and everything will be crowdfunded, but they're like a way to work with the shops. It's being able to get a digital. And if you want to crowdfund a actual floppy or an actual book from a local shop, I mean, that's something that maybe that could be pursued. I mean, I don't know if it's there yet. I don't know. I always ask the crowdfunding guys, like, is this the wave of the future? Is this how everything is going to go? I mean, because you obviously see the demand actually there when you crowdfund a book, but I think crowdfunding would become the new thing, would become the new trend, or would become the future if they could do a monthly book and if they could lower their prices. I think you would absolutely see it become the future, because right now you're getting a yearly book, maybe two, like twice annually or twice how many, like once every 2 years essentially you'd get a book and it's like $40. So it's like, oh Jesus, okay, all right, it's a great book, it's a great product, but then sometimes they're not, and so you're up in the air. So I think if crowdfunding was able to do a monthly book, which is tough, and lower their costs, I mean, gosh dang, it would be the future, but it would also be, because then the money's going straight directly to the creator. But yeah. JK says, I don't think younger readers are as digital focused as everyone assumes, and I prefer digital. Well, I think because Marvel and DC continue to try and reach out to these like younger audiences, the modern audiences. And I would think that they would be pushing digital, because they're like, well, if they're on TikTok, they can go on Marvel and look at the Marvel digital, reader, like Jeff the Shark. Remember Jeff the Shark guy? And like look at those webtoons or whatever they're called. But I don't even think they're trying to really push for that. I don't see any marketing for that. I remember in the early 2000s or maybe 2010s, they had the AR codes that, like in the corner of a comic panel, you would scan the AR code and it would send you to the Marvel website and you could read the comic there. Little things like that I think they were trying to push, but there really hasn't been any type of real push that I can see that's been successful for digital stuff.
Yeah. And I think too, it's just like, I think the more we try to like reach those audiences, the more we see they just don't want. It's always like that version of the characters. We have the YA version of these characters. We have the webtoons version of these characters, and they don't want that. It's because what's the I think Beast Boy and Raven are a YA like DC book that's actually done really well comparatively speaking, and then people will go and read those, but then they don't want to go read the comics. It's a weird. We've created so many different markets for these characters that we don't have an actual single market anymore, and then you're stuck dividing groups into what you're trying to sell, or your stuff into groups that you're trying to sell to.
No, Harley, it was actually called an AR code. Like if you looked at the comic, it said AR, it wasn't a QR. Because I know the QR is the little pixelated one. The AR was something totally different.
That's a
Yeah,
simple,
Rachel.
You can't say AR without assuming someone's being shot. So
I mean, it does stand for
Yeah,
assault
right.
rifle. Yeah. Automatic assault rifle, Kyle. They're fully automatic, all of them.
yeah.
Hey, to me, AR means accelerated reading.
Hey,
Did y'all
there
have
you
that
go.
in school? Read a book, take a test, get some AR points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think middle school had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rachel says modern audiences. That's the drinker voice there.
Yeah.
Message.
The message. You lose the collecting aspect when you go digital. Hey, I mean, I know some guys are going digital because they have collected for 40 plus years and they like literally don't have any more space. There was one guy who was saying,
Literally.
I forget who it was. Maybe he was at a meetup, but he said that he had so many long boxes. He had them on the second floor of his house that it was bowing the ceiling like on the first floor because there were so many long boxes in his room on the second floor that like he could see the structure giving him.
That might have been Ernie. Yeah,
So.
guy who
I'll
runs
say-
a store.
Interestingly enough, like yes, you lose the collecting aspect when you go digital, but I think in some ways you actually save the collecting aspect because you're not going to have nearly as many units of those books out there. So if you do have a book so like he was saying, you lose the collecting aspect when you go digital. So yeah, if you're the person that's buying digital and you don't have the physical copy, yeah, you personally lose those collecting aspects. But for the market in general, you could potentially be saving the collecting aspect because instead of having 130,000 copies that go out, you might have 40,000 copies that go out. And then trying to find a copy of something that's actually in good condition becomes more and more rare, more and more infrequent, that the prices of those things could potentially go up. So
Yeah.
I think it's twofold.
Zaxx says accessibility is a problem. Mangas everywhere and comic shops are gone. How do you hook a young reader? My kid has some big Batman stories, but otherwise reads manga.
I don't know.
So
Comic
Zaxx,
shops aren't necessarily gone. No, there's a ton of comic book shops still.
Yeah.
You can order from plenty of those online as well. I know here in Indianapolis, how many do we have? Just in Indianapolis alone, like 6, 7? Yeah.
Daddy Zaxx is giving you a compliment, by the way, Josh.
Hey, Daddy Zaxx, I'll repay you for that later tonight. I mean, yes and no. Like, yes, there are websites you can go to buy comics and have them shipped to you, but I think your general audiences don't know that that's there. Your general markets don't really know that's there. I think people that are looking at, sorry, my dog's getting noisy again. I think you got people that, eventually start looking for comics hard enough that they come across that. But this goes back to, we talked about this on West's stream once. Like, you need to find your good books, your good stories, collect them and get them in Target. Like, get your Batman year ones, you get stuff like that. Get it so that it's mass produced and easily accessible in Target, in Walmart. Let it be there. Put it with the books. Don't put it over in this chintzy like checkout aisle like they do currently.
Yeah, Walmart.
And eventually more people are going to pick it up and read it, because even people that are just fans of the movies, at some point they're probably going to have heard like, oh, I've heard really good things about this book. I'm going to pick it up. And that might be their first introduction to comics. But I tell you what, if I read something like Batman Year One as my first comic, I'd be going, holy shit, this is really good. I want to check out some more stuff.
Yeah.
And if my next book was Daredevil Born Again, I'd be like, yo, people are fucking sleeping on comics,
Yeah. Holy shit, yeah.
And then they get an artist that's not David Mazzucchelli and a writer that's not, classic Frank Miller, and they're like, okay, never mind.
Yeah. And then they read X-Men Utopia. Oh my God, how's it get there?
Oh my God. Peak Marvel. Well, it's you're almost kind of like you're damning yourself, because you're like, I am going to read something that's like near perfection, but then after that it's like, oh shit, I can only go down from here. But there really is so much stuff. I think one of the things that would be great is, do you guys remember the Essential collections? I have some of them.
I've got every X-Men volume of the Essentials.
Yeah.
And they're awesome in black and white. Love them.
They're fucking badass because they're black and white.
Yeah.
The paper is like kind of the newsprint newspaper quality.
Yeah, I love
Yeah, it's newsprint. $10 maybe $15.
It depends on which ones you're buying. Like I do know for firsthand, the Jim Lee Essential X-Men ones. The one of them I just bought was $75.
Oh my god. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Never mind.
Yeah, so
But see, that's
some are 10, 15, $20, but others are when you get further along in the X-Men line, like the Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri stuff, that's when those essentials get very expensive. And they only printed those once or twice, and that was it.
But I was thinking, like when I first bought those though, because I was buying those as a young kid to try and get caught up, and I'd always buy the volume ones that were like the classic 60s Captain America or classic, Stan Lee Thor stuff. Those were fairly cheap because at the time they could print them cheaply and just throw them out there. Like you said, it's newsprint, it's black and white, and you can just, get it out and have these great characters and storylines. And I think if they went back to that, those books should not be $75. No fucking way.
The problem is they only printed them once.
Yeah, which is stupid.
That's the thing.
It really should be. It's like print money.
Yes,
it's like
literally.
I don't get it.
You are the cost of making those was probably zero, like comparatively to everything else.
The binding.
It's what?
It was the binding.
You're paying for the binding.
Yeah, you're paying for this. Binding. That's nothing at this point.
Yeah.
And it's not like you're creating new things because all those stories were already made, already.
They sell. Everyone loves them. Keep turning it out.
Yeah, and it's stuff like that just makes me shake my head and go like, what are we doing here? Like at what point are people going to see that and go like, dude, we are leaving money on the table.
There's a lot of money being left on the table right now, and
so much.
Yeah,
sheer fucking hubris.
Yeah. Harley says, question for the panel. If you had VR goggles, haptic gloves, would you read a digital comic if each book had animated VR panels and immersive storytelling?
Depends on the artist. It depends on the artist. I will say, if it were like Steve Ditko, Doctor Strange, absolutely. Jim Lee on X-Men, Uncanny X-Men or X-Men #1, Jim Lee. Absolutely. I would love to just VR immersed in that.
Too much.
You're in space. You got the spaceships going around. You got Magneto. This is my home. Get out of here.
Too much.
No.
I think my only hesitation is one, I'm not a big video gamer, so I'd probably not know how to use it. So I'd be boomering the whole thing.
Yeah.
Two, I think comics should be the most simple and quick form of escapism possible. Like if I have like 20 minutes before work and I've got a comic I haven't read, I should be able to flip that bad boy open, read it, and be able to get to work on time. Sit down, read it, enjoy it, and then put it in my bag and board and in my long box. And I think if you add that whole new aspect, I think some collectors would really like dive heavily into it. But I think your older collectors might just be like, I don't need it. But that is a good question, Harley. Thank you for asking. Because I mean, like an immersive world, like to be put into the Phoenix Saga, like the Dark Phoenix Saga, where they're on the planet with the Gladiator and shit. Like, oh my god, dude, that would be insane. Or
an intergalactic space battle between the Brood and then the X-Men. Something like that.
Or like meeting Galactus for the first time. Like, holy shit, dude! Like,
cool.
It'd be like
it would be
like it's almost
like being in the
what that's like. Yeah.
Oh, it would. Yeah, it would be. It would be essentially the Danger Room. Yeah. That would be cool. JK says, I wonder though how much is left on the table. I can't remember which writer, but didn't one of the writers say that the publisher just randomly printed his old book and he ended up owing royalty?
Owing.
If it's a comic book character that Marvel and DC owned in their contract, then I think he would owe them if he's the one who printed it. I don't know.
Yeah, if he's the one who printed it.
Yeah.
But Dr. Rachel says, seeing Max Boomer his way through using VR sounds like a great video. So digital reader is top of that monolith. Harley, I think if anything, if any digital form of reading comics is going to flourish, it's going to be the most simplest form. It's just going to either be like a comicsology comic book reader where you can literally just flip the pages on an iPad or something, or a tablet, or like even a PDF. Like when I go on to read, read comics online, like I just scroll through, and it is the easiest way of reading comics ever. So the accessibility is there, but Max VR Silky stream, yeah. Well, I think we can probably call it a night now that Josh is back. But oh, Josh is back. All right, let's go.
Yeah, I can't run too late, man. I got to go to my other side after this.
Oh, that's right.
Wow, wow.
Yeah, only Josh. Let's go. So yeah, everyone in the chat, we're all gonna go to only Josh after this. So follow us over there. But yeah, no, thank you guys. I know this is not an easy conversation. It's heavy in concept. It's heavy in ideas. It's heavy in all types of different you really have to articulate your points well to be able to try and have these conversations. And so it's tough. And we could talk for like days. Like it wouldn't even do a stream any good, necessarily, because we could be talking about this for days, weeks, months. It still won't get solved overnight. So I think this will be a continuation. This will be a saga, if you will, of how we got here and how can we fix it, but and I'm sure people in the chat can also have brought up great points as well. So thank you guys for participating. Yeah, only Funko. We need a Funko Pop of Josh.
Hey.
Hell yeah, we do. Just a question of which version of Josh. That's the question.
Ooh, McDizzy.
It's like Kyle was
McDizzy,
like
right?
Kevin or
McDizzy.
Kyle Funko. Yeah,
Either one.
It needs to be Kevin without the beard. It needs to be, yeah. So that would be the perfect Funko.
Waving like,
and you know what?
Ralphie. Hi.
Just yeah.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger. Well, yeah, thank you, Harley, for putting the link in the chat. You guys can go over to Comics Elite, go subscribe to them. They put out weekly videos on the comics that they're reading every single week, and they give you guys their top 10, their mez, and their skippets. And then to go follow Josh, you can go find him on the Twit-Twat, and he's always got some great things to say. But yeah, thank you for putting those in the chat, Harley. Do you guys have anything coming up that you want to promote or anything you want to talk about before we head out?
Go to your LCS, pick up Born of Blood, number 5. It's out in the stores this week, and pick up the back issues, see if you can find them. You will not be disappointed. Yes,
sir. That new cover that just came out is super fire, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. I haven't gone to my LCS this week, so I'll go this weekend. But yeah, no, that it's been a really fun series, and I actually just finished Death Rage and Miss Meow as well, so I think I'm all caught up. I'm all caught up. Josh, you got your only Josh going on.
Ooh, funny enough, Max, isn't there really going to be an only Josh coming out in the near future?
I won't, unless you want to speak it into existence, I would wait. I might wait. What do you think?
I think part of it's kind of already in existence. So let's just go ahead and throw it out there.
Yeah.
One, if you've watched any of the streams I've been on, especially Comics Elite, Jesus Christ, Comics Aficionados, boom, that one, the one that Wes does.
Yeah.
You've probably heard me bitch about my day job for the past couple of months. Well, guess what? Got a new day job.
Yeah, buddy.
My schedule up. Woohoo! Which may or may not mean your boy is going to have a YouTube channel.
Whoa.
With product and stuff coming, not product, but videos, content. We'll say content. But yeah, I kind of threw Max some of my ideas of what I plan to do, and we will have a weekly we're debating weekly or monthly, but there will be an only Josh. We're gonna play with it. There will be no stripping. There will be no flopping of anything except for maybe floppies.
Yeah.
Translation: Josh got fired. No, look. If I would have gotten a 6-month paid vacation, I would have let y'all know. Okay, I mean, come on.
Yeah, he would not be here doing comic book streams. He would be out doing something way cooler. But yeah, well,
prostitution was way cooler. Way to go.
I will say to all my lovely subscribers and everyone who watches these videos and chat and whatnot, you can say goodbye to this channel, because once Josh starts his channel, you guys aren't even gonna see me anymore. You guys are gonna all go to his channel. And, no, I'm kidding.
Listen, Zaxx is in the comments, so I don't know if Jay's still here, but this is the same level of like, I don't know, I think I'm like a 3 or 4, and none of the girls
my god, here we go. Here we go.
I can't get poontang pie to save my life.
Oh, there's just no good girls out there. I just can't find any. I'm just so ugly. Yeah.
Tina is offended.
Oh god. Zach says Josh is going to dominate YouTube like Gator rides dog. Yeah, no, I 100% think that like Josh will probably have 1,000 subscribers before he even releases his first video. Just by word of mouth, he's gonna have all these subscribers. It's gonna be great. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
gonna go for the gays, gonna go for the comic nerds, gonna go for the movie people, gonna go for the conservatives, and then when they get to my channel and I release content, they're gonna be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh man, they're gonna be like, "Oh, he's gay? Oh, unsubbed." No, I'm kidding.
But I like his comments and his takes on everything. Too.
Yeah, right. But his takes are so based. How can I not like him?
And then the gay guys are gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's so bigoted." But he's gay. We have to support
Dave Rubin of comics. Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this catch-22. It is going to be a really fun channel, though. Some of the things that he was talking to me about and some of the ideas that he was bouncing off me sound really fun and actually like something that I'd want to watch. Whereas some of these channels that are just starting out, they kind of copy paste a lot of what other channels are doing, and it's not necessarily something I would want to watch. But some of the things that you were sharing, I was like, hey, I would actually, hell yeah, go out of my way to put that on and watch that. So I'm here for it. And yeah, hopefully we can get you. Let's do like a test. How quickly can we get Josh monetized? That would be pretty rad.
Challenge.
If only there were any girls for Max.
Oh yeah.
Shoot.
She's back there on his shelf. We got Huntress back there. Come on.
I do have Huntress. Yeah, she's gorgeous. The only other one that I'd want is like classic Miss Marvel. You know, like Carol, or not Carol Danvers.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, we got
With the lightning bolt.
Hold on.
Yeah,
With the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
That costume was bomb. They should have never changed that.
Dude. This one,
Ollie agreed. Yeah, see, Ollie agreed.
Yeah, like this is bomb. This is peak Marvel. No, I'm kidding.
You want to see what I bring to the party? Want to see what I'm packing?
Did you got? Oh my god, you sons of bitches!
She's got some assets.
Yeah.
Yes, she does.
She does have some assets, dude. Yeah, that's like a 1-for-1 of the comic book cover.
Yes. Love it.
Yeah.
How much are you selling that for?
I think I told Sean, like, hey, if you don't want that, I call dibs. But
oh,
damn.
damn.
Don't worry.
Yep. More than a little, less than a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think that would be another great addition right next to Huntress. I think they would both look really good, but two different universes. I don't know if I can have DC and Marvel, but
nerd.
Yeah, fucking nerd. Yeah, we have to support him, Rachel. That's why he's on the stream. No women like well-spoken jack dudes with dreamy eyes. Nope.
True.
That's right, Zaxx. At least none in California. That's what I'm trying to say.
Probably true.
Yeah,
I can tell you how quickly we can get him demonetized. Well, Harley, we have to get him monetized first, and then we can demonetize him. Yeah. But Max said he won't date me because I don't have enough subs. Oh, no. That is fake news. Can someone fact check this? That is not.
She
that
means
is
she's not making you enough subs to eat, or is that what she means? Or
Oh, maybe Trad Wives Club. I don't know. Yeah, Harley just bubes. Well, we'll end on bubes then, because I think that's a good bubes. That's a good way to end a classy stream. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Definitely looking forward to Monday's video for your comic book reviews, and definitely looking forward to the YouTube channel that hopefully we get here pretty soon from our friend Josh. Can we see both of you guys on Aficionados tomorrow morning, or Josh, are you just going to be there?
I think it's just Josh. I'm doing best of with Wes.
Oh, cool. Okay. So at least we will see you guys both with Wes this next week. All right. Good deal. Well, thank you guys again for being here. Sorry that we couldn't get Aaron on. He couldn't make it tonight. But hey, you know what? This is a fantastic panel. What?
Harley Dave's last comment.
Snopes?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Harley's always he's always coming in here stirring the shit. He's funny because he either stirs the shit or he'll gift like 50 memberships or something. He's
the
wild.
best kind of friend to have.
Yes.
100%. 100%.
Yes, hail.
We appreciate the chat and we appreciate Harley. Thank you, brother. Yeah, great stream. Thanks to everyone on this panel. Thank you guys. Great questions tonight. Really insightful, and also a lot of trolling, which I love, which is a lot of fun. So all right, guys, we're going to call it a night. We will see you next week on the Comics Elite channel. So go, like I said, make sure to go subscribe to them so that you can watch our Friday chat and their comic reviews for next week. And we will see you soon if I can find my outro. There it is. All right. Bye.